Work, it's what we do, part of who we are. There is joy in work. And no matter what size your business is, the dedicated commercial team at Two Rivers Ford will find the work trucks and vans that keep your business moving. And Two Rivers is the only dealer that offers a 90-day free fleet management program that can help you save money on every single mile. The Commercial Vehicle Center at Two Rivers Ford. We work for you.
We have a roster. It will change in an hour from now, but in the meantime, we have a roster. Welcome in on this Wednesday morning. We're happy to have you. Mike Wilson will be upon us here in just a few minutes from now because Josh Heupel got an additional year or two tacked onto his contract. So we'll talk to him, talk to Mike about all things Tennessee. We'll get the latest on what's going on ahead of their opener against Syracuse. And speaking of the Syracuse Orange, Keith Bullock will be honored at that game in Atlanta, and he will join us at 12:20 today. Looking forward to that. 615-737-1045 is the number. If you would like to participate, the F&M Bank chat also at your disposal if you would like to get involved there. Good morning, boys.
Good morning. A lot of takeaways from yesterday. James Prochet not involved in the initial 53, though there is, of course, a path to him being on the roster. Week 1 in Denver. Some lower-end roster churn that we mostly anticipated, but my biggest takeaway, the Mason Kinsey era is indeed over.
Yeah, that's crazy.
For the Tennessee Titans. Justin Mello's reporting that they are looking to sign Xavier Restrepo back onto the practice squad, and Mason Kinsey did the thing. He posted the Simpsons meme of getting thrown out, but this time we didn't have him popping back up in the background.
Like it's Barney and who's the bartender in The Simpsons?
I feel like Robert would know this.
I don't, actually. I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons as a kid.
Really?
Yeah, I have never probably seen anything outside of, like, the Treehouse of Horror episodes.
That's where your parents drew the line?
Which is an excellent one. Yeah.
Mo, by the way.
Mo. Okay. I know. When I used to have to stay at my grandparents', I would always try to trick them into letting me watch, like, Family Guy or whatever, and I remember vividly it was an episode where Brian comes in and he's like, whose leg do I have to hump to get a dry martini? And she was like, we are not watching this. It immediately cut it off.
I tricked my grandparents into letting me watch Jurassic Park when I was 3. And then I had nightmares about that T-Rex scene for, I think, 2 years.
God, your linguistic skills as a 3-year-old. Like, I think the benefits far outweigh the negatives of me viewing this cinematic masterpiece, Grandma.
Act surprised at all.
So, I didn't know Hank Azaria, by the way, voiced Mo.
Hank is like, isn't he like 30 of the voices in The Simpsons?
He's an incredible voice actor, for sure.
He did a show here recently. He's doing like a Bruce Springsteen tribute show. Did you see this? It's like Bruce Springsteen. It's like a knockoff Bruce Springsteen act with Hank Azaria. It's just speaking of the range that he has, but I suppose that's not what people are here to listen to on Sports Talk Radio this morning. The numbers are as follows for each of the positions. Again, initial. These are important things to remember because, like I said, in an hour, the waiver claims will begin or will have been submitted, and there will be different players on your roster than there were at the time that we were talking about it now. 2 quarterbacks, 3 running backs. Where we thought the numbers might be heaviest are where they went about status quo. Receiver, there's only 6, and James Prochet was the odd man out in that particular situation, and that's fine. I mean, you pretty much went chalk there, right? Ridley, Jefferson, Lockett, Oliver, Iamaner, and DK. 3 tight ends. The numbers are heaviest with the offensive line group, and I think they're just trying to still figure out they know who their best 5 are, obviously, but they'll look to figure out who their best depth players are. I bet you see some thinning of the herd as far as the offensive line situation go. Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon, we brought him up yesterday. Is he the only UDFA to make the roster?
I believe the only UDFA that the Titans signed
this year,
rookie UDFA. Yeah, I believe he is.
So 5 defensive linemen, 9 off-ball linebackers / edge players, 6 corners, 5 safeties, 1 punter, 1 kicker, 1 long snapper. So that is what the initial 53-man roster looks like. There's a number of names that are out there that will be interesting to see who the Titans claim. The players waived yesterday: Brian Asamoah, linebacker Kendall Brooks, Drake Dabney, Jalen Duncan, Ali Gay, Cam Horsley, Jamar Jefferson, Mason Kinsey, Jordan Mims, Odakoya, the tight end, Isaiah Rakes, a nose tackle, Restrepo, Rupchich, and Josh Wiley. Guys who were terminated, because remember, there is a difference between being released and being waived. Brendan James, Blake Lynch, Amani Oruwariye, I think I got that right.
Oruwariye.
James Prochet, Trevor Siemian, Carlos Watkins, Tajay Spears to injured reserve with a designation to return.
So Tajay out for the first 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So your running back room for the first 4 weeks of the year consists of Pollard, Chestnut, and Mullings. So Tony Pollard. going to carry a pretty heavy workload, which we got used to last year.
So hopefully he doesn't get injured as early as he did last year and have to shoulder that burden while dealing with an ankle problem the way that he did for, it sounds like, the bulk of the season last year. But the roster pretty much chalk, right? Outside of Prochet being an upset, I'd call him an upset, given the special team situation and the unproven commodities that they currently have. Your punt returner, by the way, could be on waivers. Like, they could pick up somebody ready to rock for week one. They could bring back Prochet ahead of Denver, as we talked about yesterday. So it doesn't mean that these things are final. But I think it is, given that Prochet was a good enough wide receiver and had a good enough camp and is clearly and obviously the best punt returner that they had, that was probably the thing that surprised the most amount of people, it seemed.
Yeah. You brought up when we were talking pre-show this morning, Deuce Vaughn as a guy that's out there that was waived by the Cowboys. Obviously, John Bones Fossil has worked with him. He only returned 4 punts, though, for Dallas last year. Trey Palmer is out there who had a really nice rookie season with Tampa, but was held back due to injuries last year, so that would not exactly fit the theme that the Titans have largely gone with when bringing in, whether it's free agents or trade acquisitions, that theme of availability. So there are options out there, and that'll all get finalized within the hour. But I think it'll be either James Prochet or Chimere Dike returning punts in week one.
It was actually a pretty savvy move from them, from a roster construction form, because we talked about the difference in being waived and released. James Prochet has accrued 3 NFL seasons, so he is not subjected to waivers. He is a free agent, so that way no one can put a claim in for him. They can sign him to the practice squad, bring him up for the first 3 weeks of the season. They essentially added another roster spot by doing this and pushing the buck off until week 4 to say, okay, are we going to wait until there's a potential injury to add Prochet back? I mean, there are enough roster gymnastics they could do to make this work. But from the outside looking in, this was a pretty savvy move to get an extra roster spot and still maintain your primary punt returner for the first 3 weeks of the season. Because it doesn't seem like to you guys that anybody would go out and try to sign Prochet, because his value is
not based on the way that you have slandered this man at every turn.
I was going to say, not if they listen to this show.
I'm doing the Titans fans a favor.
Right.
I'm trying to keep him your guy.
It was all a ploy.
Yes,
Robert.
I'm working for you guys.
Why? Because you're scared the Ravens might try and bring him back or something like that?
Please don't. No, we have good depth.
So that's where things are at right now. Now, the Heupel extension is, it's literally just that. It's an extension. There's no raise involved for him. He does get I was reading Brent Hubbs' piece on VolQuest, or report on VolQuest about it. I guess he does get more usage, more hourly usage of the private plane situation.
For personal use, he gets more access to the university or a university plane.
Yeah, sure, I'd take that in a contract negotiation if I'm Josh Heupel. Absolutely.
So it's not through the 2030 season, but through January of 2030.
Okay.
So through the 2029 season, where he's been getting this 1 year bump of an extension year over year pretty much. So that's all this is. But Mike Wilson can lay that out for us with a clearer picture.
Yeah, much ado about nothing at this point other than Heupel, the buyout situation obviously changes year over year as far as what percentage of a buyout that he is owed or that they would have to pay if they were to find themselves in a situation where they'd have to move on from Josh Heupel, which nobody foresees at this point in time. Robert, do you have something?
A little bit of news about a potential waiver target of the Titans in running back Audric Estime, who's some news from Mike Kliss out in Denver. If he does pass through waivers, which is a toss-up right now, we don't really know. We will find that out at 11 o'clock. Waivers will become public. If he is not expected to re-sign with the Broncos practice squad if he clears waivers. So there obviously something was going on between the relationship between Sean Payton and Audric Estime. There was news about him being unhappy about.
Didn't Philip Lindsay take him out? Philip Lindsay is the former Broncos running back that I think is now doing local Denver radio. I saw him he was challenging somebody in that running back room. I couldn't remember if it was Estime or not.
That's a deep cut.
Philip Lindsay?
Yeah. Deep cut NFL player.
Yes. Okay, so I pulled it up. In July 30th, Philip Lindsay called him out for pouting over his position in the depth chart. Yes, Audric Estime. So just a little I think it's worth noting where if he's not going to get along in a crowded running back room there, what makes you think he's going to get along in a crowded running back room here?
Well, it's just not that crowded, right? It's just
bodies.
They're trying to patchwork it together until Tajay comes back, and even then they can't rely on Tajay because of the health situation.
But if he was going to get any kind of usage here, like for his body type, he would be competing with Khalil Mullings, who is a draft pick for this team who they have control over for this season and 3 more. He would be this season plus 2 more. So finding your way to fit in with someone who already has equity and draft capital invested from this Titans team.
Yeah, and I mean, it's Mullings is not so special that they have to keep him in that scenario, right? And if his biggest flaw at this point in his career, and still understanding that he's a transitioned player from a linebacker to a running back, but if he can't stay on the field in pass protection situations, then he's a bit of a liability. And it's not, I think Mac talked about this with us last Friday. It's not necessarily identifying. He doesn't seem to have a problem identifying what he should be doing in protection. It's just that he physically can't hold up in pass pro.
Titans intend, according to Justin Mello, to add Kendall Brooks. We mentioned Xavier Restrepo, Jamar Jefferson, and defensive tackle Cam Horsley to the practice squad, assuming they clear waivers.
Horsley had a nice preseason.
He did.
Restrepo is the new Kinsey. And if you get to a situation where Xavier Restrepo is a candidate to be on the 53-man roster, then you're banged. 615-737-1045 is the number if you have questions, comments, or concerns. Mike Wilson of the Knoxville News Sentinel. Join us, talk some Vols, coming up next. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. 615-737-1045 is how you participate. We will go to Knoxville here in just a second. Mike Wilson of the Knoxville News Sentinel, always on the scene. I appreciate that Mike is committed to the bit, Lucas, where you tried to book him, and he said that he had to clear it through me first since the last time we tried to book him. When you were, either I was doing the morning show or you were doing the morning show, and we both tried to book him at the same time. Mike Wilson joins us now.
Well, he didn't feel wanted.
On 104.5 The Zone. Wanted by whom? He's always wanted by me.
I don't think he feels that way.
Mike, break the tie here. What say you?
Yeah, I do feel that way. I feel my allegiance lies with Buck.
Oh.
Because of his great love that he has shown me in the past, and the fact he forgave me for that time I made fun of his shirt and shoes he wore to Madison Blevins Hawks' birthday party. He forgave me for that, and that forgiveness meant a lot.
Was that the leopard print thing that I had going on? Yeah.
And the shoes that look like you wove them yourself. Yeah,
the Huaraches, baby. Listen, Don't knock them till you try them. That was Fat Buck. We're living different now. Mike Wilson, @by Mike Wilson, is where you can follow along. Much ado about nothing with the Josh Heupel extension, or is there anything of note that needs to be discussed?
No, I mean, it's pretty standard operating procedure for Danny White. Coaches are typically on 5-year deals. That's kind of been the norm. This is the third straight year, I believe, that Josh Heupel's gotten an extension. I mean, it's just kind of the way that Danny White operates. That's the length of contract that he likes to have. I didn't think there was anything major about that. It's a vote of confidence, obviously, that Josh Heupel continues to do a good job, is recruiting well, good locker room situation. Like, very happy, I think, is the air in the Tennessee administration of what Josh Heupel is doing with the program and as a person.
I'm hesitant to say nice things about you because you've declared your allegiance to the person across from me.
Eat it, nerd.
I will anyway. I'm thunderstruck, to say the least. But I will anyway. Mike Wilson, we yearn for good journalism on this show. We can't get it from anybody, despite Buck's best efforts. And we got it with you yesterday. I
stopped making an effort a long time ago.
We got it from you yesterday with the news of the sports world, much to people's chagrin, of Taylor Swift's engagement to Travis Kelce. One person out there in the ether thought to tie the Taylor Swift-Travis Kelce wedding to former Tennessee head coach Butch Jones, and it was Mike Wilson. Please tell us why there is even a sliver of a chance that Butch might be sneaking around trying to get in the background of every picture at the Taylor Swift-Travis Kelce wedding.
Yeah, first off, Lucas, I have love for you too, especially the Italian food that you show on your Instagram stories. It makes me jealous, and maybe I'm bitter that I haven't gotten an invite. Maybe that's what the emotion really is here. So Butch Jones was Travis Kelce's coach at Cincinnati before he got hired at Tennessee. We're going to reference a Taylor Swift song here. There might be some bad blood because Travis Kelce was suspended in the 2010 season, but then came back with 2 monster seasons, got him into the NFL, obviously. Read a story yesterday, I think on Yahoo, for that reference. That was kind of what made him a tight end. Like that suspension ended up pushing him into the tight end room. So that's the theory. So, I had to ask, is Butch Jones going to be at Taylor Swift's wedding? And I guess we'll find out whenever that wedding comes about. But it is important that you know that this is one of the first times I've gotten a text from my wife saying, "I'm so proud of you."
Oh, that's a nice moment.
It felt really good yesterday. I threw some Easter eggs in that story for her too, of song titles and lyrics, and it, warmed the heart.
I mean, what are the odds that Butch Jones has
there's no shot.
Any sort of, even just has any relationship with Travis Kelce at this point in his career?
He talked about it at his presser yesterday. And again, I think tweeted the quote yesterday. You can walk up to Taylor Swift and say, "Hey, you can build a castle brick by brick out of all those bricks they threw at you."
Oh my God.
Fantastic.
I'm never getting invited back.
To things that actually matter. Tennessee and Syracuse kicking off in Atlanta
this weekend. It's a great deal. It was the biggest story anywhere. Did you see the CBS News reporter reacting to it live on television?
Not going to break the Instagram likes record for a post, though. It's going to fall just short.
Shameful.
Game one with Joey Aguilar this weekend. What kind of approach are you anticipating? Are you expecting Tennessee to come out and just try to put pedal to the metal and let him just take that gunslinger mentality right out of the gates, or maybe play it a little more conservative, understanding that early turnovers could be the thing that does them in this game? What kind of approach are you expecting with Aguilar?
I think they're going to stick to the identity. You look back at past season openers, the Joe Milton year in 2023 in Nashville, it was pedal to the metal. Obviously, it was Chattanooga last year, so a little bit different, but it was again pedal to the metal. I would expect Tennessee to push Joey Aguilar to do exactly what he's capable of doing. One of those storylines throughout the fall has been that tightrope line between aggressive and reckless, because Joey Aguilar did have some interception problems at App State. That's been talked about. But I would expect Tennessee to try to run the offense well, push the ball down the field. I am very curious to see how the tight ends get involved in the offense. I think they're going to have to be an important piece, given I'm not really sold on the wide receivers. So curious what the offense is going to look like overall. Is it more 12 personnel? Do they run the ball heavy? But I'd expect to see Joey Aguilar push the ball down the field at some point, if not early.
Yeah, because that was my follow-up, Mike. The running back changeover, Dylan Sampson, obviously going to the NFL at this point in time. They're a lesser room for it, and obviously he was relied upon heavily. Unfortunate that he got hurt ahead of the playoff game, so that we didn't get to see him have as much of an impact as he was capable of having. The offensive line situation has obviously changed a little bit too. What is the thing that this offense can lean on, or do you think they're most capable of leaning on right now, given the amount of turnover that they've had year over year?
Yeah, I'm choosing to buy into the offensive line. It turned over a lot, but I think the way they went about filling out the interior of that line, I think Lance Hurd is going to be and has to be a different player at left tackle if that's going to come true. But I think that group combined with the tight ends gives Tennessee a chance to be physical with the football. The running backs are new. I think there's 3 guys they'll probably play. Deshaun Bishop, Peyton Lewis kind of being at the forefront of that. Star Thomas, the Duke transfer. I think they can do good things with that part of the offense. And I think that's where you can establish that game again. Joey Aguilar brings a little bit in there as well. A total offense guy when you talk about his stat lines in his career. So I think that's got to be that backbone, because Tennessee's wide receivers, they aren't that Jalen Hyatt, Cedric Tillman. Like it's a thinner group, and it's a group that struggled last year and then lost its best players from last year. So you kind of have to do those things more in the middle of the field early.
Were you at Mike Matthews' media availability the other day?
I was not.
Okay. He's an interesting fixture in the middle of all of this too, not just because, they obviously convinced him to stay as opposed to potentially, or at least considering, the transfer portal. And like you mentioned, the thin nature of the wide receiver core for Tennessee this year. Can he be a difference maker, or is there a belief that he can be a difference maker if he's completely right?
I mean, he has to be. That's the reality of it. I talked to a college class the other day, and like a sports journalism class, and the professor asked me at the end, who are the 3 most important players for Tennessee football? And he goes, obviously Joey Aguilar is number 1. I said, I don't think Joey Aguilar is number 1. I think Mike Matthews is number 1. If Mike Matthews is good, that's going to help that room so much. If he's not, where are they turning? Is it Chris Brazzell? Is it Braylon Staley? I mean, how does that look if Mike Matthews isn't the 5-star talent that he was as a recruit? So I think he has to be that guy. He has to establish himself as that. Obviously, there were some injury stuff early last year. Development slowed a little bit. He has to be really good in this offense if this passing attack is going to reach its ceiling.
Mike Wilson, Knoxville News Sentinel, at by Mike Wilson is where you follow him. Robert, fine or no fine, Mike Wilson saying, or just working into the conversation that he was asked to speak to a college class the other day.
Would you like me to fine him for pouring back into youth and giving back to the community? Yes. That is why we fine people. No, we fine people for name dropping and being like, Jelly Roll invited me to his concert in Germany.
Senseless clout chasing is what earns a fine.
I said I was going to Germany. I didn't tell you who I was going with.
If Mike was like, yes, I went to speak to Sydney Sweeney's class on attractive males, then yes, I would fine him. But he didn't. He was going to talk to, I'm assuming, comm students.
Would Mike be the example, or would he be educating people on that particular subject?
I think Mike's the picture of male aptitude. Why would he not be talking to Sydney Sweeney's class?
Inclined to agree. Mike Wilson here with us.
I mean, just look at him on 104.5 The Zone TV. Just YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. On the flip side of that, Mike, the ability to affect the quarterback. Obviously, it feels like a pretty big hinge point for this team this year with James Pierce Jr. gone to the draft. And it's just a bunch of blue chippers left there, right, that still have yet to really prove themselves that they can have that sort of production. And it's kind of what, as good as this defense was last year, in important moments let them down a little bit, right? Their inability to affect Carson Beck and that Georgia loss in Athens. How do you see this team's ability to heat up the quarterback with that trio of Joshua Josephs, Jordan Ross, and Caleb Herring?
You know, it might be a hot take, but I thought Joshua Josephs was better than James Pierce Jr. last year. And big reason why, I think Joshua Josephs is better against the run. I think he's an effective pass rusher as well. I mean, he was a highly recruited guy as well, but I thought he was terrific last year. And that was something I genuinely believe that he was better than James Pierce Jr. at a lot of points last year. Is the attention he got from defenses the same? No. Is the way that teams attacked him or didn't attack him? No. But I really am high on Joshua Josephs. I think he's going to be a high NFL draft pick this year as well. And I think he's going to prove that throughout this season. So I have a lot of faith in that position. I have a lot of faith in that front seven in general. Defensive tackle, that's kind of the spot where you got to fortify that a little bit. Jackson Moy, Bryson Eason are the two guys there. Davion Hobbs battling an injury, as VolQuest reported this month. But yeah, that interior presence there is a big deal. But I really like that edge rusher position for sure.
We have been having the discussion all offseason about, the intangible word and thing that is culture in Tennessee's building with the Nico fiasco and all the Boo Carter drama in the summer. How much of a clear intention have you kind of gotten from Tennessee's coaches and players on trying to just be a group that is more together, that has a little bit more leadership this year with some of the turbulent situations we've seen off the field? Has that been a pretty clear theme of the offseason to you? Because I feel like I'm hearing about it more than I have in the past from Tennessee players, especially after the Nico thing.
Yeah, that's been a focus since Josh Heupel got here. Like, I remember early in his tenure, and obviously he arrived at a very turbulent time with Jeremy Pruitt on the outs with NCAA problems, all the talent on the roster essentially entering the portal. And, Josh Heupel, I remember it was like kickball games inside the indoor facility, dodgeball. It was all team building and trying to build that camaraderie and togetherness back. So that's been a staple of his tenure period. I think that, again, probably had to come back around, as you're saying, following the Nico drama. I think the way that Josh Heupel handled that surely earned respect in the locker room. It was a no nonsense at the end of it of Nico's gone, we're moving on, spring games tomorrow or that day. Cool, let's go. I think the way Josh Heupel's gone about his whole tenure has kind of had that air of being a team together, liking each other. So yeah, it's not a surprise to see that be a tone again today. And that's why he leaned on that leadership council when it came to making decisions involving Boo Carter as well.
Well, I keep coming back to something Miles Kitselman said with 3HL, our afternoon show here down at SEC Media Days, talking about something that was missing last year, 3 and out after 3 and out, and they'd come back to the sideline. And Miles said that there was no voice. There was no kind of coming together. And he admitted that voice probably should have been me. When you're covering Tennessee-Syracuse, and if the offense kind of hits a lull and you look down to the sideline, do you expect it to be Miles Kitselman kind of gathering the offense together? Is Joey Aguilar a guy that can kind of step into that role, as clearly it was something that they didn't quite have last season?
I am very curious to see how Joey Aguilar goes into that. I think he's been a breath of fresh air at the quarterback position. And from the media perspective, every single media person talks about their interactions with him. One of the TV people here, Riley Robinson, talked about after a recent Joey availability, he came over and was like, "Hey, I'm Joey." And I'm so happy to be over here. This and that about living closer back here where I was. And just is so human, relatable, personable. I'm so curious how that translates into that quarterback room, because he seems like such a likable guy, both from a media perspective, a team perspective. And I think the fan base is going to love that about him too. So is that Joey Aguilar? I'd hope so. Because I think he's got the potential to really set a tone for the offense of just how he is as a person.
How many of those books behind you have you read?
The top shelf is like half read. They're organized by whether I've read them or not. So, but I want you to be impressed. Many leather-bound books, apartment smells of rich mahogany, that sort of thing.
Yeah, in fact, it looks like an IKEA shelf and many paperback books. So I think you are working.
Pretty accurate. There's some hardbacks in there. Don't get me wrong. I'm a hardback reader guy at heart. So.
Is the plant real? That's what matters.
Yes, all the plants are real, because, I have a wife, so I've got to have good plants and well-maintained home and everything.
At by Mike Wilson is where you follow along. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, guys. You knew I was trouble when I walked in today.
Love
Get
you,
off
Mike.
my screen. Yes. No, I love you back.
No, I love you back. People don't have any love, man. That's why I
I
knew.
love you so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn it.
Oh, yeah.
It's my favorite way. It's my favorite when he says I love you and they just leave in disgust or confusion. More often confusion than disgust. If they could see you, maybe it would be, I think it's the fact that it's just a voice from the beyond.
Yeah.
Well, that's your test, your litmus test for whether someone is or isn't a good person. 100%. If you
Are you
say
accusing Coach Dave McGinnis of not being a good person because he laughs at you and then hangs up every time?
no, he always texts me and says "love you, bro."
Yeah, Coach Mack has told Robert.
Do you
he loves
think?
him.
I don't think that's
do you
true at
think
all.
Keith Bullock would say "love you" back to me today?
We'll find out at 12:20.
I bet he will.
He'll be in studio.
So he'll get. So you will really put your theory to the test.
But he won't physically be looking at you because he'll be facing us. So it will be almost as if it was a voice from the beyond, unless you come in here and try and glad hand the way that you typically do.
I cannot wait for you to hear the thunderclap of a dap up when our hands meet. It will be like the Sylvester Stallone arm wrestling movie.
Or no, what's the Arnold Schwarzenegger one?
Predator?
Is that where that comes from? I thought it was the Over the Top. I thought
No, it's
that came
Predator.
from-
It's
Isn't it?
Arnold. Yeah, right.
Oh,
Isn't it
dang.
Arnold?
Arnold and
Where the two arms come together.
Who's the black guy with the mustache that died? Carl what?
Oh,
Weathers?
Weathers.
yes,
Carl Weathers.
yes,
That's
yes.
definitely Arnold and Carl Weathers.
Okay, dang, I was
Look
wrong.
at that. Movie reference. Me.
Well, Lucas did most of the heavy lifting.
Where are you going to be on Friday, the two of you, while I'm gallivanting across the world?
At Yazoo.
That's right. We can't wait. We'll be there to celebrate the 2025 kickoff of the college football season. We'll be there. Cover 2 will be there. 3HL will be there broadcasting live. There will be free stuff. There will be beer and a celebration
What kind of free
college
stuff?
football.
What free stuff do you have?
Oh, you don't like free stuff.
You know, you got to come hang out
because
to find
usually
out.
it's crappy, the free stuff. It's like
no.
a koozie.
Well, not this free stuff.
And we have chances to win Tennessee season tickets for 2025.
Okay.
I don't want to overstep my bounds, but I think we have a T-shirt that will mark the moment.
We'll
if
be
you
there
will.
thanks to Porch Factory and Logo Brands.
Now, is it actually a good T-shirt? Because famously, the radio station's clothing or apparel choices are horrendous.
You'll have to show up and find out.
I will not.
We'll be there to talk about whether or not Tennessee will win and or cover. Minus 13.5 is the spread right now for Tennessee over Syracuse. A Syracuse team that replaces a ton from last year.
Syracuse had a great season last year by their standards. And we can talk to Bullock about this, but they have an uphill climb as far as meeting any level of expectation that last year set. I think most people are kind of, you tell me if I'm wrong about this, but most people are expecting Syracuse to kind of return to the mean a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they've rebuilt their roster almost entirely in the transfer portal. They lost some guys to the NFL, Kyle McCord included, after a record-setting season when he came from Ohio State. They go and get Steve Angeli, the Notre Dame quarterback, and he wins that QB battle against Ricky Collins. He'll start on Saturday. But they lost over 20 guys to the transfer portal, not even including who they lost to the NFL draft. So they've basically retooled this roster almost entirely in the portal, and Tennessee lost a lot too. But Tennessee did more supplementing in the portal where they kind of have that foundation that they're, the college football version of draft, develop, retain. It's recruit, develop, retain. Harder to do now than ever, but Tennessee is trying to do some version of that. And most of the guys that are coming in and filling those big holes are players that Tennessee recruited. Like Deshaun Bishop and Peyton Lewis at running back, right? Colton Hood comes in via the transfer portal at cornerback, so it's kind of sprinkled in there. Syracuse rebuilt this thing in the portal. And Jonte Cook is going to be a threat in this game. He's the former Texas receiver, former 5-star. Expect them to try to feed him early and often. But there's a big question mark around the Syracuse team, and you get the luxury of getting them the first time they set foot on the field in a competitive environment, and they still have a lot to learn about themselves.
I root for Frame Brown.
Oh, he's awesome.
I was kind of disgusted by the, winners get washed thing. Like, take a shower. I don't care if you won or lost, take a shower.
No, he's great.
But he is delightful. And every time he seems to get to the podium, he has some kind of quote. And he just keeps it real, it seems. Like with his players, with guys who are asking for NIL money.
And Trevor Pena, the new Penn State receiver, who will have a lot to do with Penn State's national championship hopes. That's the one that Fran Brown was saying, $1 million. I'm not giving you no $1 million.
Right.
Get out of here.
It's a
with
much
$1
less
million.
polished version of Josh Heupel. You know, he's just going in different directions.
Can we hear from Fran Brown?
Oh, do we have it?
Talking about the amount of orange that will be in the building at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on Saturday.
Speaking of details, how do you account for the environment of this game into your game plan?
Everybody gonna have an orange, so orange is orange. So we just gotta not see the burnt orange as much, right? But orange is orange. My guys just gonna be happy to be playing in the packed stadium. We're ready to go. I'm not really. I'm excited to go there and play football.
That is Syracuse coach Fran Brown talking about the opportunity to play Tennessee in Atlanta this coming Saturday. The opener for both of them. It should be a fun watch. So if Syracuse even covers, you're probably coming away a little disappointed, right?
Oh, you just want to win the game. I mean, at the
Is
end
that
of the
just
day,
what the season is, just win the game?
Yeah. No, I don't think I'm not in a place right now where anything is a disappointment if they don't cover the spread. Get in there and win the game. There are a lot of unknowns for both teams this season. And yes, the spread is heavily favoring Tennessee. But no, you're learning a lot about yourself, too. Just get out with a win.
Coming up next, we have some SEC observations. Robert, do we have anything in the nebulous prize bucket for 11 o'clock?
We didn't earlier, but I'll hit a refresh and we can wait right now.
0% chance that there is anything by the time that you hit that refresh, but we will.
See, I hate this. Like, I'm prepping. I need these in early. Coheed and Cambria tickets, September 3rd, just a couple days away.
Not yet, but at 11 o'clock for the dumbest thing in sports this week.
If you call now, I will block your number and you'll never win anything on this station ever again. Do not call now unless you want to talk about sports. If you're calling now for dumbest, I will block you, boycott you. Only way anybody will ever hear from you again is if you leave a voicemail.
Oh, maybe we should do that instead of taking live calls because the calls have been so bad lately. Maybe we just do voicemail so we can weed them out.
I don't actually have that power. It was an empty threat.
SEC observations are next.
Let's talk about week 1. Not week 0, not the Southwest egg rolls, not the chips and dip, the main course, the fajitas of the college football season. Week 1. Last week, we did quarterback tiers for the Southeastern Conference. This week, let's do week 1 matchup tiers in the SEC. Very clear who is in the first tier of the most watchable, the most intriguing games involving SEC teams this weekend. LSU, Clemson on Saturday, and Ohio State, Texas. Ohio State, Texas kicking off at 11 a.m. from Ohio Stadium. By the way, have you seen all of the scuttlebutt, outrage, whatever you want to call it, about Dave Portnoy being banned?
Why is Ohio State the softest university in all of major college football?
Well, they're saying it's because he's not part of the Fox Big Noon Kickoff desk crew, and so anybody that's not a part of that doesn't get that access to the stadium.
It's all like, shut up. Like, you look like such losers.
It's great for Dave Portnoy.
I mean, you've handed him as much ammunition as that man has ever had.
Literally best case scenario for him.
What a bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
Like, how small are you? You just won a national title, and you're like, the Michigan fan can't come into my stadium. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Rob.
No. I cut you off. No, I was going to say the same thing. It's just they are just being big babies about his ties with Michigan, where I'm going to give $1 million to they can get a 5-star transfer or 5-star quarterback. Like, they just don't want that guy in their building, which is lame.
Well, Ross Dellinger's logic, or not logic, but reporting on Ohio State's logic. This is directly from Ross Bjork, who told Yahoo, Ross Bjork, the athletic director at Ohio State, that Bjork, according to Dellinger, confirms that Fox decided Portnoy would not be on the main desk of Big Noon Kickoff, and those not on the desk do not normally appear on the field. These are Fox decisions, he emphasized. But in the end, it's still like, it's not what's going around, right?
Yeah,
what's going around is that Ohio State banned Dave Portnoy.
Perception equals reality.
Anyway, nothing to do with the SEC other than the fact that Ohio State is playing Arch Manning in Texas. Julian Sainz' first game as Ohio State starting quarterback. Obviously, the intrigue is there between the defending national champs against a team that is kind of championship or bust this year, it feels like, with Texas, the preseason #1 ranked team in the country.
Is there a more championship or bust team than Texas this year? I would maybe Penn State. But I don't feel like it's the same stakes for them.
But I will say I don't think Steve Sarkisian faces the level of pressure that, say, like with his own fan base that a Brian Kelly does. Because let's say Texas gets as far as they got last year into the semifinal and they lose to Oregon or someone. Guess what? Arch Manning probably still coming back next year. So there's still going to be this feeling of running back with Sark.
Did you see that Archie had to text Arch and apologize for saying that he would not come out of Texas after this coming season?
Yeah, I did see that.
What a mess.
The AI edits were not kind to that moment. Did you see them?
No.
People AI editing the younger Arch to be like, I don't know where he got that from. We need to put him in a home. Like, you always think they're real until they say something just completely off the wall. It's like, damn it, you got me again.
Do you want to hear the worst thing I've ever said to somebody?
What's that?
I threatened my my mother one time to put her in a home and take away her driver's license if she wasn't nicer to me.
Oh, my God, you were such a mean 8-year-old.
I was literally like in grade school.
God, dude, my mama would have hung me up by my toenails.
Anyway.
That's the reason for all this. You weren't disciplined as a child.
Oh, no, I think they tried.
LSU Clemson at 6:30. The battle of the Death Valleys. Obviously, the pressure is there on Brian Kelly and LSU this year. And Dabo Swinney, who it feels like is on this like revenge tour as Clemson's head coach, right? And listen.
Whatever he needs to motivate him.
No. Here's the reality of it. If Clemson even has a deep run in the college football playoff, if they win the ACC and end up being semifinalists, then he will have proven everybody wrong. Right? Like, we can sit here and say, all right, Dabo, do your thing. But if Clemson is a legitimate contender, whether they end up getting over the hump and winning or not, then that can be a middle finger from Clemson to the rest of the world who said, all right, game's past Dabo by. Goodbye to that era of Clemson as a national championship contender. So I get where he's coming from because this Clemson team is poised to win a national championship this year. They are that good. Their talent profile is that good. Their wide receiver room and defense is reminiscent of those great Clemson teams of the last 10 years or so. And Cade Klubnik is a contender to be the #1 overall pick in next year's draft. So obviously those two are in the top tier. In the second tier of intrigue with SEC Week 1 matchups, I have 3 games. Tennessee-Syracuse is not one of them. And this is not intrigue for the Tennessee fan base. This is just bird's eye neutral view of the SEC matchups. It is Alabama, Florida State, Virginia Tech, South Carolina, and Auburn, Baylor. I have those 3 in there because Alabama, obviously, is looking for a championship-level jump in year 2 of Kalen DeBoer. The lead up to this game has been colored with Thomas Castellanos, the Florida State quarterback, saying all of these things about how Nick Saban can't save them and how the Florida State defense is the best defense he'll see all year right before he plays Alabama at home. And Florida State trying to hit the reset button from going undefeated and college football playoff snub to 2-win team, worst P4 team in the country, to whatever they're going to be now, which is so hard to get a read on because they kind of went out and did something similar to what they did last offseason, and that's rebuild in the portal. It could also be a disaster. Gus Malzahn in there calling plays. Gus Malzahn has traditionally been a thorn in Alabama's side. There's just so many storylines in that game that I think is fascinating, though I accept there is a great possibility that Alabama just takes it to Florida State because they're the more talented team.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that the most likely scenario for all the offseason?
It is the most likely scenario.
You've been not shy at all about gassing up Alabama.
Yeah, I think they're going to win the SEC.
Yeah, which is fair.
They're 2 touchdown favorites, 13.5-point favorites at FSU.
I want a good game, but I don't think we're going to get a good game.
I think if Ty Simpson can't do a lot of the things Jalen Milroe did, right? Ty Simpson's not going to break 180 yards. Now, don't mistake that for me saying Ty Simpson's not really a great athlete. He's a good player. He can run the football when he needs to. But what he will do that Jalen Milroe couldn't quite do last year is keep this offense on time. And a Ryan Grubb-led offense, which Alabama did not have last year. If he just does that and is just that game manager with a little bit of athletic upside, then I think sky's the limit for that loaded Alabama roster this year. And Auburn-Baylor. I mean, I'm just fascinated by Auburn-Baylor. Baylor's a team that could win the Big 12. Auburn's a team that could make a leap to 9-ish wins, maybe better if the quarterback hits.
Would you say that, though, about in the Big 12? Isn't
several.
Pretty wide open?
Several, yes, which makes it very intriguing. Auburn's also a team that could continue to bottom out and Hugh Freeze get fired after this year. There's so much variation there. And then Virginia Tech, South Carolina. If South Carolina is going to tout itself as a college football playoff contending team, then you have to beat Virginia Tech in week 1. And obviously that's Shane Beamer going up against his father, Frank Beamer's longtime school, where he is a legend and a college football Hall of Famer. Then I have Tennessee, Syracuse in the tier below that. And then I have Kentucky, Toledo kind of in the bottom there before we get into all the cupcake games, because I think Kentucky's going to be dreadful this year. And I think they're going to lose to Toledo this weekend. Maybe we'll get a better preview of that game with Toledo legend Brett Kern later this Friday.
Is there a world where Kentucky is actually the worst team in the SEC this year, not Mississippi State?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because
I think so.
Mississippi State has a play-calling, offensive-minded head coach and a quarterback that's
healthy this year, which he wasn't last year.
Competent,
Blake
so that at least gives them, a fighting chance, whereas Kentucky has... did you say Zach Calzada?
He's in his 7th year of college football.
You said he was at A&M in 2019. I brought myself to a scrape pre-COVID.
Yes, pre-COVID. He's Kentucky starter. There is nothing to get excited about with this Kentucky football team. It's really hard to try and figure out what to get up for this season. This feels like it's it for Mark Stoops, and maybe we got Wet Powder Wednesday coming up. Maybe that's a wet powder thing, but I am genuinely intrigued to see if Toledo can pull the upset of Kentucky's 8.5-point favorite against Toledo.
Toledo's not the worst college football program. It's been Akron, right? That's the team that...
No, Toledo's a good program. Toledo is right up there with the chance to win the MAC this year.
Akron is the team that went to Neyland and they offered them a running clock in the second half and they declined it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Those are the observations. What, you have something?
You guys excited?
4.
5 minutes. We learned the waiver claims.
Sure, but we're going to do Dumbest Thing in Sports this week in the meantime.
Well, we can still be excited. You're not excited to learn what those things are?
I'm more excited to see Kentucky play Toledo, to be quite honest.
Well, you got to wait a couple days. It's either wait 5 minutes or, of course. Okay, I'm more excited for Christmas. Of course you are. But I'm talking about right now.
I think you're more excited for waiver claim day than you are for actual Christmas.
That may be true. Not more excited for actual football, but it's what's happening right now. You got to look right in front of you.
Find out next.
11:02, good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. The Titans' initial 53-man roster was released on Tuesday. Waiver claims are being processed today. Adam Schefter reported Tuesday the Titans will sign defensive lineman Shai Tuttle to a one-year deal. Tuttle formerly with the Saints and Panthers. He was a UDFA out of Tennessee in 2019. Speaking of Tennessee, Vols head coach Josh Heupel has signed a contract extension through January of 2030. It's Heupel's third contract extension in the last 3 years as he heads into his 5th year as head coach in Knoxville. In NFL news, the Carolina Panthers are sending wide receiver Adam Thielen back to Minnesota in exchange for a 2026 5th-rounder and a 2027 4th-rounder. The Vikings also get a conditional 2027 7th and 5th. The 35-year-old returns to his hometown team where he spent the first 9 years of his NFL career. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Six 615-737-1045 is the number. If you give us the dumbest thing in sports this week, we'll send you to a Coheed and Cambria concert, as well as just bragging rights if you want it. 615-737-1045 is how you get involved. My dumbest thing in sports is Tommy Tuberville. Tommy Tuberville, the former college football coach that is now a state senator, acting like we haven't had female cheerleaders, or rather male cheerleaders, in the NFL since 1979. It was recently brought to the internet's attention because the Minnesota Vikings announced their cheerleading squad via TikTok, and one of them's a dude. I think there might be 2 of them that are dudes. Titans have male cheerleaders. I think damn near every NFL team.
College teams, too.
In the league has cheerleaders. For some reason, we're treating it as a reason to get upset and bent out of shape. Tommy Tuberville is doing an interview with Hutton and Chad the other day about what the hell is the NFL doing? Literally since 1979, Tommy. Like, I know you like to make things up about how you recruited Patrick Mahomes and all this other stuff, but, like, pick something else to be fake outraged about. It's the dumbest thing in sports this week.
The Pat Mahomes thing was hilarious.
So stupid.
With Tuberville. Talk about how he recruited. He's like, I didn't coach him because I think Donald Trump said something about Tuberville coaching Patrick Mahomes. And Tuberville was like, no, I didn't coach him.
Like there was some event at the White House that Tuberville was at, and Trump gave Tuberville credit for coaching Mahomes.
Right.
Yes.
And he admitted, I didn't coach him, but I recruited him and we're great friends. And Pat Mahomes was like, yeah, I've never met the guy. So my dumbest thing in sports is the entire
lying greater than sign.
Cap, as they say. The entire Rashee Rice situation is the dumbest thing in sports.
Oh, my God.
Adam Schefter reporting just minutes ago that the NFL is aiming for at least a potential 6-game suspension for Chiefs receiver Rashee Rice for violating the league's personal conduct policy. This, of course, stems from his hit-and-run incident that took place at some point last year, if I'm not mistaken. Schefter says the suspension would kick in at the start of this season. Then why is Rashee Rice having his disciplinary hearing with the NFL on September 30th? After the Kansas City Chiefs play the first 5 games of their schedule, including massive divisional games against the Chargers, including a game against the Eagles in the Super Bowl rematch, including a home game against Robert Walsh's Baltimore Ravens. None of this makes any sense. So Schefter says he could be suspended for the first 6 games of the year, but his hearing is at the end of September. Like, I'm trying to connect dots here. It's not making sense. Would the league suspend him before the hearing to see if there would be any additional suspension? Like, none of this makes sense.
The optics of it are horrendous, especially with the Jordan Addison suspension going through the way that it did and Rashee Rice. Like, again, I do not believe that the league is in favor of benefiting the Kansas City Chiefs, but you cannot have the optics around this Rashee Rice thing and come away with it next to the Jordan Addison suspension and be like, yeah, nothing to see here. It's one of the things I think that has upset Robert Walsh the most, and rightfully so. NFL fans everywhere. Do you play the Chiefs this year, the Ravens?
Thank you for listening to the show. Love you.
I'd miss that.
Love you. Yeah. So he talked about they played the Chiefs. I think it's week 4.
Okay.
They play the Eagles. They play the Chargers. If you weren't listening to Lucas,
I wasn't.
The issue with me is okay. They're going to say, okay, we're going to suspend him for the first part of the season. Well, then he's just going to. The word escapes me. What's it called when you push back on a suspension?
Delay?
No. When you're fighting it, it. So
appealing?
He will appeal the suspension. So then they will have to wait until his disciplinary hearing and then his 6-year.
News. Tom Pelissero reporting that Rashee Rice is accepting and will serve a 6-game suspension to start the 2025 season. NFL and NFLPA are working to finalize the settlement, which will end his disciplinary limbo and make him eligible to return Week 7 against Vegas. So I guess there will be no hearing, and this is the resolution.
Thank God.
I assume, he was just going to take it and be done with it.
He's agreeing to it.
It's almost not worth the fuss around it, right? Just eat the suspension and move on.
Well, because especially if we have to talk about it, saying hit and run is honestly the tamest part about the entire thing. It was a massive pileup. He left the scene of a crime, not in the car. He left the damaged vehicle there. And then there were guns in the trunk that were not owned by him. There's a whole lot of different things that they could get into in the litigation of it, but good. That was definitely something I was going to complain about. My dumbest thing in sports is this Fox Sports and YouTube TV disagreement.
Every year with this crap.
Have you guys? It's the second most important deadline today, where at 4 p.m. today, YouTube and Fox have to come to an agreement over the payment of using Fox channels, or they will not be available to YouTube TV subscribers. This is so stupid, especially considering everyone who uses YouTube TV probably re-upped for football season to have dual screens or what have you.
But that's why they do it. I mean, that's why they wait until the timing of this, because they want to maximize their leverage.
Yeah, it's very intentional.
They have way more leverage than YouTube does in this situation. They're basically holding YouTube hostage, and it's going to continue to happen until they have a long-term agreement where it's not a year-to-year basis.
And even then, CBS is going to do it, ESPN, ABC is going to do it, right? It's a great negotiating tool for the networks that have the live sports rights.
By the way, Texas, Ohio State on Fox, 11 a.m. on Saturday.
615-737-1045. What's the dumbest thing in sports this week? You give us your submission. If it's better than the rest or if it's dumber than the rest, we'll send you to Coheed and Cambria.
And also, Tennessee fans that have YouTube TV will have a hard time hate watching Nico because UCLA plays Utah at 10 p.m. on Fox on Saturday.
10 p.m.?
That's a late kickoff.
10 p.m. Central?
Yes.
Gross.
That's crazy. 11 p.m. Eastern.
All right, let's start with
That's
Logan.
awesome. It has to be football on until 2 a.m. Oh, I'm so happy.
Let's start with Logan in Nashville. Hey, Logan.
Hey, Buck. How we doing?
We're good.
Yeah, so dumbest thing in sports for me this week, it's got to be this engagement, and let me tell you why, because it's not sports. I wish nothing but the best for the lovely couple, but within the span of 5 minutes, I get an ESPN notification. We're in the engagement era. And I get 2 notifications from Caesars and DraftKings that are sending me engagement era as well, and a Travis Kelce prop and a Super Bowl prop. Did I bet the Travis Kelce prop? It's besides the point. But they shouldn't be shoving it down our throats, Buck, and that's my dumbest thing in sports. I'll hang up and listen.
Oh, well, don't hang up because it'll give you the opportunity to win the tickets if it is the dumbest thing in sports this week. I mean, we have seen this line blurred more than ever, right, where Barstool is as much culture as it is sports, even though it's Barstool Sports, and ESPN's trying to grift off the Taylor Swift engagements and likes too. I mean, it was the highest viewed or most clicked article on A to Z Sports' website yesterday. It was about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift.
You understand why media is leaning into it. Also can understand fans just being over it.
Oh, no, I get it. For sure.
Cheyenne was infuriated yesterday when I informed her that this post would not break the Instagram record. She was like, how is that even possible?
How
many followers does he have? She was so upset.
Messi?
Yes. I thought I saw her making fake accounts to like it with. I was like, honey, that's not going to make...
I don't even think it's going to get half of what Messi got.
Now, Brandon Rushing is saying on YouTube that he got a push notification about this from Grubhub, Capital One, Uber Eats, and DraftKings. Wait, Grubhub and Uber Eats?
Taylor Swift's engaged. Here, order some McDonald's.
That's great. All right. How about Isaiah in Cookeville next?
Hey, what's going on, guys? How are we doing?
We're doing well.
Oh, yeah. My big dumb thing in sports for today is the fact that Micah Parsons still doesn't have a contract. It's been so long since he's requested this trade out of Dallas. I don't know what Jerry Jones is thinking. He is one of the best, if not the best, defensive ends in all of football. He has recorded multiple 12-plus sacks a season. Pretty sure he's averaging around like 13 to 15 a year. And he is a big part of that Cowboys defense. I do not know what is going on in Jerry's mind, but that is one of the biggest what are you doing moments in football as of right now.
Thank you for the call.
Hey, before you put him on hold,
I already did it.
do you think he's a big Coheed and Cambria guy?
Isaiah, I don't know.
No, that's what I was going to ask him. Because some guys I feel like...
Isaiah, are you a big Coheed and Cambria guy?
I'm honestly...
You said who?
Look at the,
That's okay.
Oh, I'm still here.
No,
I
I
look
know.
at the statistics, and I...
Oh, my God. No, we were asking you if you like the band, Goober.
What?
I think he was talking about...
He was still talking about Micah Parsons.
Yeah. I just thought he was a fan of the prize and was like, because he kept saying big dumb, my big dumb thing. I was like, he doesn't even listen to it, like the giveaway. He just wanted the prize.
This is like you getting upset about Dane Graziano's things to be surprised about.
They were so stupid.
They're not for you. You follow sports every day. You live and eat and breathe and sleep in the sports world. You are paid as a alleged paid sports professional.
Don't be surprised that J.K. Dobbins is your starting running back with the Broncos.
Like, no bleep. Anybody that's looked at the news.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that you can just roll out like obvious things and say, don't be surprised if
If his
Moore
editor
leads
is
the Titans
saying,
in
I
rushing."
need something for you to post on this particular day because we got no traffic to the website, I'm not mad at Dane Graziano. Let's go to John and Franklin next. What you got, John?
Hey, it's got to be betting on Little League World Series games. You're betting on 12-year-olds.
Well,
Not timely, but a good submission.
How much research can you have done to know which team's better than the other team? I mean, it's...
Well, you can't. And then you can send
so
the
now
small children death threats after the
He's
fact.
not even upset about gambling on the team. He's like, how can you be an informed gambler? You don't even know these kids. He's upset about the stupid bets. He's not even mad about gambling on the kids.
Which I kind of respect. I kind of like that angle from John and Franklin. All right, Anthony in Kentucky be our last one, and then we will assign a winner. What you got, Anthony?
My dumbest thing in sports this week is Taylor Lewan's second attempt at a first pitch for the Royals game.
Oh, no. Did he screw it up again?
He almost sailed that thing over Will Compton. Will Compton had to leap in the air to catch that thing.
Well, at least it wasn't as bad as the 50-cent one that he had the first time around. Did you see that they're doing a watch party with the two of them? V-Love has tweeted it to us as his dumbest thing in sports submission because apparently the Titans watch parties used to be free, and now they're charging about $90, maybe before tax, to go hang out with Taylor and Will, which is fine. I mean, I guess commerce.
So who gets the tickets?
I am in favor of Logan because I also agree that the amount of places that we're sending out push notifications just to get the Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift clicks.
Cool. Also, just to wrap a bow on it, Tom Pelissero is saying that there was never an agreement or a plan to have Rashee Rice play the first 4 games before his September 30th hearing.
Yeah, okay.
Then why did they report that? Go pull up the old tweets.
Which was scheduled, he says, contrary to reports. There was never a plan to do that. He said,
were your reports.
September 30th was scheduled as a save the date. The whole thing has been stupid.
Listen, Tom Pelissero is really, really good at what he does, okay? But, if you say contrary to reports and you were a part of the reports, that's a tough look.
You were the one reporting.
All right, congratulations to Logan. In Nashville, he gets the Coheed and Cambria tickets and bragging rights for having the dumbest thing in sports this week. We'll do it again next week at 11 o'clock. Who are the Titans bringing in? We'll get into some waiver claim stuff coming up next. So, you expected waivers to be public by now, I'm sure, because the deadline to submit them was 11 o'clock. What I can tell you is that the Titans are not going to publicly announce it, or at least the team is not going to make them official until there are corresponding moves associated with the players that are claimed on waivers. So it is more likely that we will find out via internet trickling out as opposed to getting them straight from the team, straight from the source right away.
There will be reporting.
There will be reporting.
And there already has been a little bit of reporting.
Well, one is, and this is not waivers specifically, but Shy Tuttle, we didn't talk about yesterday, VFL.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully there's no stray helmets for him to slip on, I believe was the joke that was made by Will Bowling as we were changing shifts.
Yeah, got to clean up those helmets.
Here in the studio, got to be careful. Got to watch out of those helmets. More likely to be invited to, Butch Jones more likely to be invited to Shy Tuttle's wedding or Travis Kelce's wedding?
Travis Kelce's, and that's probably not very likely.
Shy Tuttle has been with the Carolina Panthers most recently. He was also, if I remember correctly, a New Orleans Saint.
He was a UDFA out of Tennessee to New Orleans, where he kind of built his NFL career. And
he's been a solid contributor. And Robert, who's on the phone and will chime in, I'm sure, himself here in just a second, brought up the idea that he was just reading some of the commentary below Schefter's announcement of the treat that they got from Shy Tuttle's agent, Drew Rosenhaus, that Titans fans were just kind of like, for what? You know, what do we need an extra defensive lineman? This, that. It's just not sexy. Like, you need defensive line depth. If Jeff or Sweat or Sebastian Joseph Day go down, you are in a bad spot. It's kind of like your corner situation.
Tuttle's been a good player in his career. I mean, 2 years ago, he went back home to Carolina, where Robert kind of goes back with Shy Tuttle, signed a 3-year, $19.5 million deal with the Panthers. For like a depth defensive lineman, that's a pretty damn good deal that he signed back in 2023. And he's 2 years older. He's 29 years old at this point. He'll turn 30 this season. But Shy Tuttle, probably a better option for you at the bottom of that D-line depth chart than a Timmy Horn, who just looking at the initial 53, I imagine is who they would cut loose to make room for Shy Tuttle. But he was a good player at Tennessee. He came in, trying to remember if his freshman year was 2015. I think it was. His freshman year was 2015. He came in right after Khalil McKenzie came in. McKenzie came in 2014, and Khalil was the 5-star blue chip legacy, one of the savior of the program type of guys. And Shy Tuttle came in the year after as a highly recruited player, a 4-star, 5-star by some recruiting services. Shy Tuttle was the far better player at Tennessee than Khalil McKenzie. And he had a brutal injury his freshman year, a broken leg against Georgia. And what I still think is one of the biggest cheap shots. Have you ever seen the video of how he got injured against Georgia?
It's been a long, long time. I think I remember seeing it live.
Yeah, it was during that Tennessee's win over Georgia at Neyland Stadium in 2015, and Georgia had a pass play down the field, and Shy's kind of trailing after the play, and this Georgia offensive lineman literally launches himself like blindside into Shy's lower right leg. And it was insane to watch. And he was out for a long time after that and came back and had more injury issues at Tennessee, but overall was a good player when he was healthy and has made a nice career for himself in the NFL.
So 32 solo tackles last year for Shy Tuttle. He had a forced fumble, 13 stops, which are the equivalent of run stuff, 3 quarterback hurries, 1 quarterback hit, 4 total pressures, 2 batted passes, according to Pro Football Focus, for another former Tennessee defensive lineman who, as the chat points out, and I believe one of you, I think, Lucas, you probably brought it up this morning, that Tracy Rocker was Shy Tuttle's defensive line coach at Tennessee?
Yeah. So there will be some familiarity there for sure. Remember his stiff arm of Matt Ryan?
Oh, it was so cool. He has a giant painting of it in his house.
No way.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Remind me your connection to Shy Tuttle?
He went to my high school. He's 4 years younger than me.
Oh, okay.
The one thing I think...
you're old.
You said I was old? What?
You're old.
Only 4 years. Anyway, I think the bigger thing that Shy brings is he is your third most veteran defensive tackle at this point, playing in 95 NFL games, starting 65 of them, more experience than T'Vondre Sweat. And it's not like he's going to eat up his snaps, but having the depth to rotate those guys in and out. People want to talk about how nice the Eagles' defensive front is. The reason that those guys are able to operate at such a high level is because they have high-quality subs.
They can roll like 7 of them deep.
And just platoon guys in and out.
And that was the case for their first Super Bowl, too. I remember I remember the year after that would have been the Nick Foles Super Bowl win. Brian Arakpo talking about that at the podium. It was like the opening of training camp. He was talking about, we're just trying to get to a point where we can platoon like the Eagles platoon because it's important. And, he and Derek Morgan were getting up there in age at that point in time. But Sweat played 699 defensive snaps last year. Ideally, you would not like for him to have to play that many snaps because you've got other options, or Sebastian Joseph Day or Jeff Simmons, anything to keep these guys fresh so that you can continue to disrupt from the interior on a consistent basis. And they feel like they are trending in the right direction with that. They also feel better about the edge group that they've got to make sure that they can capitalize on some of that.
A fun story about Shai from high school. I was telling Lucas this morning. He played varsity football as an 8th grader. They used to line him up there with seniors in high school as a defensive lineman, and he would also play running back. They would put him back there as like a jumbo back on the goal line. I think he had something like 9 touchdowns his 8th grade year.
Jesus.
It is insane. He is probably one of the most crazy athletes I've ever seen, like up close. Like, see an 8th grader doing that is nuts.
Lucas, your high school football team was famously terrible, yes?
For my first 2 years of high school, yes. And then things got turned around towards the end.
You didn't play beyond the first 2 years of high school.
Oh, no, I got out of there. I was like, I don't want to be part of
they
this.
cut the dead weight and they got better? You were the dead weight? You were dragging them down?
There's a lot of dead weight.
Who's the best high school, or who's the best player that your team played against in high school
Reuben
football?
Foster.
Whoa.
Wow, I bet he was knocking dudes' heads off.
You want to talk about defensive guys playing running back?
No.
We played Auburn High School my senior year, first round of the playoffs. And Reuben Foster probably had like 300 rush yards. And still one of my best friends to this day, who I know at least you've met, Robert, my friend Johnny, was our starting middle linebacker. Johnny, tough guy, went to West Point, like the whole deal. And I think he still has PTSD from trying to tackle Reuben Foster for 4 quarters.
Robert?
It's probably Shai. We played against some... we played against a bunch of dudes, but never anybody that really did anything like in college or the NFL. It's definitely Shai. Shai's the only guy I know that actually went to the NFL.
Reuben Foster had like a legal incident that saw him get tossed out of the league?
Man, I thought he was going to be a dominant player.
I mean, he was
in the NFL.
He was, but then I think he had some kind of...
You're not wrong to think that. There was something like that, and then I think he bounced back in the league and ended up with the Cowboys for a season, but didn't do much. Like, I'd have to check on that.
He was last an Arlington Renegade. He signed with them. He was claimed off waivers by the Arlington Renegades literally a week ago. Or no, that was last year. Never mind.
All right, so I then have the submission for the best player that any of the three of us saw or competed against while we were in high school football.
Who you got?
Zach Martin.
Yeah.
Yep.
Monster.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
Monster. Two-way player. We beat his team to advance to state. In fact, no, Blaine went to Cathedral, right? Yep. And this was Bishop Chittard that Zach Martin played for. He was a two-way player. He was an animal. His team may have lost, but he very much won that day at every snap, at every turn. I've never seen a human being that size move that quickly.
Is that a family name for the school?
Chittard?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It sounds funny.
Look it up.
We did play.
They pay a lot of kids. They pay a lot of kids.
I take it back. We played Hoover High School every year. So Marlon Humphrey graduated the same year as I graduated.
I think
they were in our region.
I think I still win because Zach Martin was so good at what he did for so long.
Zach Martin's probably still the best.
He's a Hall of Famer. Like Marlon's, respect to Marlon, but he's probably not.
Marlon Humphrey, a really good player.
Really good player, and he shares the backfield with the new highest paid safety in the history of the National Football League, Kyle Hamilton. 4 years, $100.4 million. The extension with Baltimore, $82 million in guaranteed money.
That's a lot of money for a safety, but I know he does, as Robert could probably tell us better than the two of us, he does a lot more than just play safety.
Yeah, and I think if you look at it flatly, that is a lot of money. That's probably like the biggest investment someone's made into safety since like Jamal Adams. But like, if you're going to compare the two players, if you look at when Kyle Hamilton is on the field versus when he is not on the field, it is a large, tangible difference. So it was kind of like a Lamar deal. Like, I don't care. Pay him what he thinks is fair. Go get him, and we'll make it work.
Kendrick Bourne is being released by the New England Patriots as well. He apparently requested a release.
No hostages, right? So I guess they're going to get him out of there. He
survived the initial roster cut.
He's a tough dude, too, because like with the torn ACLs, the injury issues, but I would expect him to be on a plane back to San Francisco immediately.
He did miss most of training camp with a foot injury, but according to Pelissero, he is healthy and wants a fresh start.
Is he subject to waivers? He wouldn't be subject to waivers.
No, he's been in the league almost a decade at this point.
Is Kendrick a decade? Oh, he's 30.
8 years in the NFL for Kendrick Bourne.
I didn't realize he'd been around for that long. So for Kendrick Bourne, last year, he had 317 total pass snaps, 37 targets, 28 receptions on those 37 targets, 305 receiving yards, and a touchdown. One drop, not a hugely productive year for the Patriots offense across the board, so tough to kind of hold that against him. Yeah, I mean, San Francisco needs wide receivers as badly as any team in the league, right? And they would probably offer him a more substantial contract than a team that's, going to have him compete for, what, 4th or 5th wide receiver off the depth chart?
Or even a practice squad spot. Like most people's rooms are pretty solidified unless you have the injuries the 49ers have.
But still, he was one of the few receivers in New England that had done anything of substance in their NFL career.
They drafted 3 though last year. I know.
Yeah. No, they're going to have. It's going to have to be Stephon Diggs and a bunch of rookies helping them out this year, and whatever they can get out of Kayshon Boutte.
So there are a handful of things that were also brought up yesterday while we were doing primetime because Cole Strange got released, the former first-round pick of the Patriots that Sean McVay and Les Snead famously laughed at. Do you remember that?
Wish we wouldn't have wasted our time.
Drunk? Were they actually drunk when that happened? Because I know they have been accused of being drunk because the first round the Rams did not have a first-round pick last year, so they were probably just drinking in the draft room, hanging out.
And they weren't even in a draft room. Do you remember where they were? They were at that. They bought that huge mansion.
Oh, that's right.
To that year to do the draft out of.
We'll never know.
I just don't think you want New England cast-offs. Like, that roster is arguably, it may not even be arguable. I think the Patriots have a worse roster than the Titans do. I don't want a Cole Strange or a Kendrick Bourne out right now. I mean, depending on, like, would Kendrick Bourne help your depth here? Absolutely. And would Kendrick Bourne probably be a better version of Van Jefferson? There's an argument to be made there with better quarterback play.
I think it's interesting, too, though, that Cole Strange would be subjected to waivers because last year he only played in 3 games. So he has 2 accrued NFL seasons. Someone could pick him up. Hypothetically, you would have to pick up his rookie contract, but you would also have a year of team control left for him.
I wonder if the Titans would be looking to scoop up any offensive linemen.
I don't have names yet, but apparently the Titans have claimed 4 players. So we will keep you updated with that.
That's lower than I thought, though. Does that surprise you guys?
I would have thought they would have put in a claim on 5 minimum, but if they feel good enough. It's also about like how quickly can you get these players acclimated. We'll find out more specifically about the positions here in just a second. But I am hoping that Jalen Armour-Davis is one of the players that the Titans have claimed, that corner that Robert tipped me off to yesterday, who has only played in 15 games in the last 2 years because of injuries.
Kaharski is reporting that the Titans have claimed Jalen Armour-Davis.
That would have been my number one, given the Titans' secondary issues. That would have been my top waiver claim priority. You were surprised to see him get waived yesterday, weren't you?
I was, because of the Ravens' not injury concerns at corner, but their lack of tertiary depth. But I will say, for Titans fans, this was the best he has looked since coming into the NFL. His 2 biggest things.
In the preseason?
In the preseason, yes. Well, I mean, practice, anything you would like. He has never looked this good. The big issues with him were he couldn't stay healthy, which you already noted, and he could not turn his big-ass long frame around to locate the ball. He would just back always to the ball, could never find it in the air. This preseason, I think he had like 4 pass deflections and an interception. So finding the ball extremely well when that has not been a strength of his in the past. He was trending up, but the reason the Ravens wouldn't keep him is the lack of team control. He's a free agent after this year. So
that's fine for a place like this.
100%.
Yep.
And if he ends up leaving, you get a comp pick.
Yep, and it's a much deeper cornerback room in Baltimore than it is here. So do we take that to mean Jadn, GJL out?
Jad, Jad.
Jad. But does he come in for Gabe Judy Lawley is what I was trying to do there.
Oh, sorry.
It doesn't. It doesn't matter. They're all at the bottom of the Titans' corner depth, respectfully to those players who are just trying to make their NFL careers, and I fault them none whatsoever, but they are not good.
Did we just ask this as a poll, or do we have a segment today about the guys we don't think would make it after waivers? I don't want to shoot my whole clip here.
What's the phrasing of the poll?
You tell me. You're the one that posted. I have no idea. I can look.
I only bring this up to say Gabe Jeudy-Lally would probably be one of the last 4 in, included along with Mike Brown, who was a 5th safety. A lot of teams aren't carrying 5 safeties.
What's the poll?
Well, no, hold on. Man.
He was
literally
just looking
said,
at
"I
a
can look
picture
it
of
up."
a hot dog.
Are you hungry?
I was looking at a picture of a hot dog.
Why?
No,
That was a good-looking hot dog.
What is wrong with you? You know what? The things I would do to have I have 3 monitors in front
we
of me.
don't have a poll. We don't have a poll like that, by the way.
There's not even a poll. So the poll that you thought you put out, you didn't put out.
Well, you thought you put it out. I don't know why you lied about that.
No, you just go back to looking at your picture of your hot dog and get on with your day.
No,
okay?
don't bring it up again.
What I want, I need Mike Buckner, the chief engineer around here, to devise me a situation where I want at least one of these 3 monitors in front of me to be mirroring Lucas's monitor. I want to see what he's looking at during the show. Whether it's the temperature in Sao Paulo on any given day, or what he wants for lunch, or what were you watching yesterday? It was your wedding planner it's Portuguese that they speak in Brazil?
Yeah, the wedding planner Instagram post. What do we think about mayo on a hot dog? I support it.
With just mayo, it has to have other things.
Yeah, it can have other things, but just generally mayo on a hot dog. That's the poll you should put out.
Okay, go ahead.
It's your Twitter account, bud. Don't know why you're doing this bit.
That all thought you had? Mayo on a hot dog?
I'm down with it, though.
Yeah.
I think I agree with Buck, though. It could be even better. Like, imagine mayo underneath chili and cheese. That's the fattest thing I've said today.
No, surely not.
You're right. I did.
Dip a hash brown
You
and
told
cheese
me to
dip.
do that.
Oh.
You told me to do it.
You didn't have to, fatty.
I even made a comment about how that fat kid is still living inside you. You
Me?
wanted to watch me do that, to live through me.
That's right.
Order some hot dogs?
No, I don't. What I want to do instead, I guess, is do Wet Powder Wednesday coming up next. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hetty B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. I thought you were going to bring us back in. Your microphone was on as the music was playing. You have thoughts? What's wrong?
I know. I just realized that I was going to sing an intro for this, but I realized that I don't make any extra for that. So I'm going to start keeping my skills to myself.
Oh, that's right. I still
wonderful.
Oh, God.
That's what you are. I know there's nothing, no one else like you. There's no way he could have made two. I love Barry White.
That was awesome.
Lucas is such a supportive Paget mom.
No. It's the only nice thing that I'll probably say to you this year is that you are just good enough to be a bad singer.
Aw, that's so nice.
It's great. Like, you could legitimately, we need to do some karaoke stuff.
Oh, I would love that.
I actually love karaoke, which is an upset.
I do too. I'm a big fan. I get so many strange looks because I'll be like belting out songs driving to work in Nashville traffic.
Yeah.
You look next door and someone is like just looking at their phone. They're like, "Why the hell is this guy singing Mariah Carey?"
What were you? Was that what you? Was it Mariah Carey this morning?
No, it was Mandy by. Oh, Mandy.
Isn't that Barry Manilow?
Oh, yeah, there you go. You came and you gave without taking.
See, how can you name that, but you don't know who Freddie Mercury is? That doesn't add up.
Because the guy was dead 20 years before I was born. Like, I don't know.
I do think before we get into Wet Powder Wednesday, we should acknowledge that some of our powder was wet on purpose last week. Where our powder was, where Colin was right, where Colin was wrong, where our powder was wet.
What are you talking about?
Last week for Wet Powder Wednesday, I said that, the report came down. The Minnesota Vikings interested in veteran receivers. Who could they look at? Who would they look at? And I said that they should trade for Adam Thielen. And then what did happen today? After being poo-pooed on by NFL insiders all over the globe, who was right?
You mean by his wife?
My powder is soaking wet. And it should be. It was purposely Powder Wet Wednesday. So we've already had a successful outing in this. And I look forward to having many more.
Should we take a phone call first?
Yes. Yeah, get into it.
All right. Johnny the Poet.
Hey, guys. How's it going over there? Happy Draft Wednesday. I'm in a pickle, and I need your help. First of all, full disclosure, I've only done fantasy one time. I did the midday league like 10 years ago, and I got last place, and they kicked me out. So I swore off fantasy. But this year I got invited to my wife's company's fantasy draft. She did it last year. She's uber competitive. She's got all these sheets. She watches all these videos, and I was just going to do it laissez-faire. Well, last night I told her I was going to draft Baker Mayfield, and she's a diehard Sooner. She loves Baker, and she said I'm not allowed to draft Baker or CeeDee Lamb, and I think that's very unfair. In fact, I said I'm drafting Baker, and she's not listening to the show because she's working, but she's like, if you draft Baker, first of all, I'm happily married. I love my wife. She's my best friend, 19 years. But last night she said if I draft Baker, she'll cut me in my sleep. And should I draft him, or can you give me some insights? Because now I want to win, and I'm way behind. Tell me what to do because I want to win this sucker.
Man, that's a tough one.
Oh, right. No, it is not. Johnny, you have incredible leverage in this situation.
So you're saying you would be willing to negotiate?
Yes.
As opposed to just receiving an edict from your significant other, you would then try to leverage your situation. That does not seem like the recipe for success in a relationship. I would know, of course. I have been in many successful relationships.
And gotten out of many of them. So what I would say is if she's a big Sooners fan, then you go out. You draft Baker. You draft CeeDee Lamb. You draft Mark Andrews. And you let her know, hey, more than happy to facilitate this trade. You just let me know what you need on your end, and here is what I need. I need a foot massage. I need during football season on Sundays and Saturdays when there are games, I need a spread made. Anything that you want.
And J.K. Dobbins.
And yeah, whatever else you're looking for. So I would use it against her in this situation. Oh, if you really want these players, if you really want them to score points for you, you just got to help me out.
So you could do that. Or you could claim ignorance and say, well, honey, I auto-drafted. My auto-draft situation just selected Baker Mayfield.
No, I like Robert's better. You can get something out of that. That's good. That's good advice, Robert. I have a wet powder moment.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I think the Titans are going to claim Dorian Mousey off waivers from the Vikings to fill one of those last 2 spots.
Ooh.
I think they're going to keep it on the defensive
Mighty
side.
Mouse. Oh, I actually, this, what serendipitous, just luck from on high for your Wet Powder Wednesday. Tom Pelissero. The Titans have claimed Dorian Mousey off waivers from the Vikings. Dude, your powder was wet on purpose.
That's crazy.
I know. You're so smart, man.
I hate how much higher pitched the two of your voices get when you're doing that bit.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
So the Titans...
I hope we helped you, Johnny. Good luck in your fantasy draft. I hope you have success over your wife. I almost said, I hope you beat your wife.
No.
I stopped myself.
No.
Thank you, Johnny.
So the Titans snagged Brian Asamoah after he was released from the Vikings. He was here for a couple weeks, did not make the initial 53, and now they are claiming Asamoah's former linebacker teammate in Minnesota.
Some dude in the chat goes,
waivers.
he knew that. Yeah, no. Yes, you dope.
I love that.
So that's 3. 2 corners and a linebacker. Who's this mysterious 4th waiver claim?
Y'all want to guess a position? Before it comes
I'm
out?
gonna say corner. They brought in a bunch of corners. They're waiving a bunch of corners. They're trying to get more corners. I'm gonna say corner.
I'm going to go with the edge.
Yeah, I'm going to go with edge because, like, what other corner? I don't think they're going to let go of Darrell Baker Jr. for X guy off of. Like, it's
I think
easy.
it's okay. He's not good.
Which, by the way, this probably means Marcus Harris gone. Gabe Judy-Lawley for sure gone if they're going to claim 2 corners.
I think they'd cut
Darrell
Mike
Baker
Brown
over Marcus Harris.
Mike Brown, though, they can keep in that safety room.
Yeah, well, he could come back to their practice squad as well. You know, just I think it would be easiest to cut. Oh, we could do cut predictions too. I think Gabe Judy-Lawley. I think Mike Brown. I think Curtis Jacobs, and then depending on where they pick this other cat up from,
they wouldn't have to. It could be a cut from another position.
McCole Hardman is going back to the Packers. Did anybody say that earlier?
No.
Okay. I think that was a name that Titans fans were at least marginally interested in because it's a name that they know. What edge players are out there on waivers?
Yeah. I mean, any edge player bringing in off waivers is just going to be another body.
You know, like
it doesn't change.
Because that's what Jalen Harrell is to me. He's just a body.
No, that's the question, though. Do you value somebody out there more than you value the second-year former 7th rounder Jalen Harrell, who finished his preseason with a sack on Friday?
I think there were some players that are comparable to the depth you have if you would like more team control.
Sure.
An example of Braden Swinson, who was a 5th-round pick for the Patriots this year, and he will be subjected to waivers. So if you would like to add, that's essentially adding a draft pick. Like, I think that's the most popular young edge that has been waived. But if they wanted to add somebody, it would probably be somebody of that ilk.
One more.
It just depends on, like, do you want the worst roster in football's cast-offs?
Oh.
Offensive lineman, according to Chris Thomason, who covers the Denver Broncos for the Denver Gazette, is going to the practice squad.
So that's not a waiver claim.
I said. Ignore what I said.
I did see that one, too. Clay Webb was a fun former Georgia offensive lineman who ended up at they got a cool mascot. I can't think of where he ended up playing college ball at, but former SEC lineman, now he's going to be on the practice squad.
Jameson asks, has Zadarius Smith picked a team yet? No, but he's not picking you. I mean, he wants to play for a contender. Also, he wants to make money. So you would have to, like DeAndre Hopkins, your way into his Zadarius Smith situation by just giving him more money than the other people are.
Jack State, where Clay Webb played his final year of college ball.
The final hour with Keith Bullock in studio coming up next. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is here to help you like they've helped so many other guys over the course of the last several decades, because erectile dysfunction is something that can happen pretty naturally once you start to get up there in age, once your body starts to change, and they want to make sure that they are there to help you with treatments that aren't cookie cutter. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is urology-based and staffed with multiple licensed providers who specialize in men's sexual health. They use proven treatments tailored to your specific situation. No one size fits all. Whether you're dealing with mild or moderate ED, performance issues, or even conditions like Peyronie's disease, their medical team will work with you to create a plan that gets results, often with options most guys didn't even know were out there. So if you felt the sting of performance issues recently, call the Tennessee Men's Clinic today. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes a full medical consultation, blood work, and, if medically advised, a test dose right there in the office. The number is 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090, or book online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com.
It is 11:59, just about 12 o'clock. Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. The Titans' initial 53-man roster was released yesterday. Today, waiver claims are being finalized across the NFL, and it is official. The Titans have 4. Cornerback Samuel Womack claimed from the Colts. Cornerback Jalen Armour Davis, claimed from the Baltimore Ravens. Speaking of the Ravens, defensive end C.J. Ravenel also claimed from Baltimore, and linebacker Dorian Mensah claimed from the Minnesota Vikings. Baltimore also has extended All-Pro safety Kyle Hamilton on a 4-year, $100.4 million contract extension, $82 million guaranteed. It is the largest deal for a safety in NFL history. Adam Schefter also reported yesterday that the Titans are bringing in former Tennessee, former Saint, and former Panthers defensive lineman Shai Tuttle on a 1-year deal. Speaking of Tennessee, Vols head coach Josh Heupel has signed a contract extension through January of 2030. It is Heupel's third contract extension in the last 3 years as he heads into his 5th year as head coach. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Final hour is upon us. We have waiver claims. We have another practice squad hopeful or likely at this point in time. Lucas just read you the list of names, or at least he tried to. In the middle of his breaking sports news update. Well done by you.
We got it out.
Yes, you certainly did.
C.J. Ravenel, come on down. You are no longer a Raven.
Robert was not seething is probably not the right word, but being dismissive of all these different teams claiming Ravens cast-offs. But why wouldn't they claim Ravens cast-offs? The Ravens were the number one team on offense, certainly last year. On defense, they ended up evening out pretty well in the second half of the season after they made some adjustments with their personnel group, and specifically with Kyle Hamilton moving to free safety, as you mentioned earlier. Why are you surprised that a good team with cast-offs is having those cast-offs claimed by other bad teams?
Not surprised, just hopeful that they would trickle back to us. Guys that I didn't think were good enough to play for us and not realizing
selfish is what you are.
Yeah, I would like my toys. I want to be buried with them. No other child should ever touch them.
Missouri Western legend, C.J. Ravenel.
Missouri Western?
Mm-hmm.
You can refer to him as C.J. Titanell now.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think I've ever
heard the laugh that you just gave.
I've never heard of Missouri Western.
Is that where? No. Delaney played somewhere else.
Missouri State.
Missouri State. Another Missouri directional
He played for
school.
Willie Fritz, who is now the head coach at Houston, former Tulane head coach, where he coached Tajay Spears. So was he wasn't drafted, Robert, was he?
C.J. Ravenel?
Yeah.
No, he was a UDFA for last year's team.
2024, yeah. 2024 UDFA. He did not register a statistic for the Ravens last year.
But kind of like JAD, had a really good camp. They were happy with him. There's just a log jam at defensive end right now.
My God, he is a giant.
A massive human.
6'5", 240? Oh, he's just long then.
So now the discussion is who's making room. Gabe Jeudy-Lally feels like a candidate to be out the door.
Thank you for your service.
As the Titans bring in 2 cornerbacks off the waiver wire. Do they make other omissions in other positions? Because that's one corner, Gabe Jeudy-Lally. Do they let go of Marcus Harris, who they just drafted?
Why do you keep bringing
in
in
the
Marcus
6th round?
Harris as if he's not significantly better
Do
than
they let go
Darrell
of
Baker Jr.?
Darrell Baker Jr.? Darrell Baker Jr. has done it, Buck. Like Darrell Baker Jr. was solid for them last year.
Yeah, that's like you being surprised by Keandre Coburn getting waived when the head coach is up there saying, "Yeah, we'd like to look at some other guys."
Okay.
It's just,
all right.
Just because they have existed in the NFL does not make them better options for a roster that's trying to
all right,
blink around and find out.
All right, Mr. Van Jefferson's not making this roster. All right.
On any other NFL team, he doesn't.
But this isn't any other NFL team.
I'm aware,
so the question is, where else do they pluck from to make room for these other 3 guys? If we're going to assume Gabe Jeudy-Lally is going to be one.
Get Timmy Horn out of here, that's fine.
Yep, Timmy Horn making way for Shai Tuttle. That makes sense.
Get Jalen Harrell out of here, fine. I'm good with that.
Yeah, that also would make sense.
Get Darrell Baker Jr. out of here. And
Curtis Jacobs. Is Curtis Jacobs on the chopping block in favor of Dorian Mensah?
Basically, if you're 47 to 53, you're on the chopping block. Right? We can agree? If you are not likely to be, if you are a toss-up, a coin flip, to be on a game day roster, positions 47 through 53 on an active roster are basically subject to daily waiver claims. That's kind of how I think most NFL organizations are viewing this. You would disagree?
Justin Mello says C.J. Ravenel posted 7 pressures during the preseason per PFF.
Okay.
Through 3 games.
Listen, anybody that you can even remotely use to bother a quarterback this year is going to be at a premium because, well, I don't think like...
All defense, by the way, all 4.
Well, yeah, because their defense is going to be bad.
Plus Shy Tuttle. So the 5 players they brought in after the initial roster cuts, all on the defensive side of the ball.
Anything like this is the value of the waiver claim order that they have because they basically have this for I think it's 3 weeks where they have the number 1 waiver claim order. What happens after that 3 weeks? I wonder. I need to look that up.
It goes based off waiver and strength of schedule, I believe. But I can
as
do
opposed to draft order, which is currently comprised of.
Yes.
This is basically like a second version of the draft. Like we don't really do the supplemental draft anymore in ways that are meaningful. This has taken the place of the supplemental draft. The waiver claim order is a great way for you to just get, this. It's not like fantasy, where in fantasy football, if I paid attention to my fantasy football lineup, you can only claim 1 player. If they submit 4 waiver claims, they get those players with the number 1 waiver claim.
Robert, your boy, Willie Lampkin, headed to Philly.
Boo.
According to Aaron Wilson.
You fools. You let Howie Roseman get away with it again.
Oh, I'm done with this. I can't even keep up, man.
Also, Tommy DeVito headed to New England. So I guess it's a 3-man quarterback room.
They claimed him off. I don't give a rip about Tommy DeVito right now while you're talking about our the prince that was promised.
Willie Lampkin, the offensive lineman out of North
Carolina. Is he
Carolina.
signing to their practice squad?
Robert's draft crush.
Is he signing their practice squad or they claimed him off waivers?
Aaron Wilson says, no, they have been awarded Willie Lampkin off waivers.
So he's a 53-man roster guy.
He is on the roster.
Depending who gets cut in a corresponding move, they are already rostering 11 offensive linemen. So they would have a 12 offensive lineman room, which is very high for the NFL. That would be shocking to me. So there's probably a corresponding.
The Titans have 11. I mean, I don't think all 11
yeah, but they're
of them.
suck. Like they have 11 that suck.
The Saints were awarded Trey Palmer. That's
not
somebody
all
I thought
11 suck.
No, but the 6 backups.
Yes,
like they're keeping just wide depth.
Yeah, but whose backup offensive linemen don't suck?
A lot of people have draft picks.
You might be able to name like 3 teams that have a backup offensive lineman that isn't awful.
I don't think that's necessarily true. I think that they have trustable offensive linemen. I just don't think we've had it here.
People also just generally
Oh, don't do this we stuff.
Is it?
We are talking
trading
about
in your purple and black for 2-tone blue, you homer.
I'm so over this show.
People also generally aren't that adept at just naming offensive linemen.
That's fair.
Jelani Woods claimed by the Jets after he was cut loose.
Jelani Woods, I mean, the Colts don't need him, right? Is Mo Alley Cox still a Colt? He has to be.
As Tyler Warren's show.
Yeah, but I mean, they're going to use more than one tight end.
Are they? I don't know. Tyler Warren played about 100% of the snaps for Penn State.
He might be wide receiver. Well, and he played in all manner of different positions. Like they were just finding different ways to get him the ball.
Yeah, they got 4 of them. 3 of them are draft picks. Tyler Warren, Mo Alley Cox.
Oh, Mason Kinsey.
Patriot?
He just tweeted. he just tweeted just the one part of the meme where Mo is throwing him out of the bar. He has tweeted the picture of him reappearing behind Mo.
Yeah, he's back.
We thought it was over.
You thought he was dead, you doubters, you haters.
But I'm not leaving.
Kinsey lore lives on. Good for him, honest to God.
That legendary run seems like it'll continue.
I mean, it kind of is a legendary run for a D3 wide receiver.
It's crazy.
College. Yeah. To his credit. I think that is, I think that, there are some dudes that are just worth keeping around for the vibes. Mason Kinsey is a vibes guy. And also, like, multiple coaching staffs now have fallen in love with him because he is an absolute terror as a practice team player. And you want guys who are actually going to go out there and compete on the practice team. Mason Kinsey has proven himself viable that way, so to his credit, good for him. You thought it had to be one or the other. You Xavier Restrepo stands. Shame on you.
It looked that way for a little bit.
It did for a minute, but then the meme is back. It was really, I didn't believe it until I saw him tweet the meme without Barney back in the bar. That's the first time that I believed it was actually a possibility.
Yeah.
So, Keith Bullock will join us in studio here in the next 10 minutes-ish, and we will talk about him being honored in Atlanta this weekend as a former member of the Syracuse Orange, taking on Tennessee in Atlanta for their respective Week 1 college football openers, and I'm sure he'll have some thoughts on where the Titans roster is heading right now. Players that the Titans might otherwise consider. I mean, it makes more sense for a team like this to just prioritize waivers as opposed to free agents, right? For fans who want them to sign. Because remember, Preston Smith, a level of interest.
I was going to say,
mentioned.
I am still surprised that they did not bring in a veteran free agent pass rusher.
Well, and forgive me if I'm in reruns on this, but we talked about this earlier in the week, right? Like it's a money thing. The line that was used from a Titans front office executive while we were all in Atlanta was, it's tough for guys who have made $12 million a year in their career to start making $2 million.
Yeah.
On a team that, does not reasonably expect to compete for a division title in this specific season. You want your roster regenerated as organically as humanly possible so that when you are in a position like a team like Detroit or Baltimore or, Kansas City's a perpetual contender in these kind of ways, that you can then go out and sign your Zadarius Smith at whatever point you're ready to actually have something that can put you over the top. They're not there yet. So waivers is a way more efficient, especially for the 3 weeks that they have moving forward. Waivers is a way more efficient way to go about this. And you have team control on a lot of these guys, which is the important part. Like Robert mentioned, it's basically like adding an extra draft pick. And the Jalen Armour Davis situation, like, when's the last time the Titans had a compensatory pick?
I don't know.
It's been so long.
That feels like the best value with any of these 4 waiver claims. Jalen Armour Davis.
Dixie on YouTube says, where is Cameron Wake when we need him? He was so old when they signed him to a 2-year deal. He was like 37 at the time. He still looked physically more impressive than just about anybody on the team at that point. But yeah, but you were a team ready to compete. That was 18 or 19? That was 19 because they opened in Cleveland and he had like a 2-sack game and we all thought that he was going to, be the thing that put him over the top that year. And obviously that did not play out because he got injured. And that was about the extent of the Cameron Wake Tennessee Titans experience. So we'll look forward to hanging out with Keith Bullock in studio coming up next, 615-737-1045. If you have questions, comments, or concerns. In the meantime, where's 3HL going to be today, Lucas, before you turn off your microphone and go get a snack?
3HL is going to be at King's Dining and Entertainment in Cool Springs, broadcasting live for the football season kickoff and a fantasy football draft. So if you're in a fantasy football league, bring your crew to King's. Brent Doherty is hosting the fantasy football draft party starting at 6. Food, drink specials, every pitcher of beer purchased comes with a free pizza. Giveaways, prizes, all that good stuff. Go hang out with 3HL.
A free pizza with a pitcher of beer?
It's solid pizza, too.
I don't think I've ever had the pizza there. All right. Keith Bullock next. The fiduciary advisors at Trajan Wealth understand that no 2 retirement plans are the same. They offer guidance on a variety of financial objectives, including ways to earn higher potential returns and tax concerns. So let Trajan Wealth help you develop a plan that will meet your financial goals. You can call them today because there's all manner of different things that happen throughout the course of life, whether it's occurrences like inflation, changing economic policies, new laws, and interest rates that can affect the financial markets in the short term. You want to make sure that you're being consistent with your strategies, whether it's wealth management, retirement planning, or your investment portfolio. And that's exactly what Trajan Wealth is there to help you do. 2 locations here in Middle Tennessee, Brentwood and Franklin. The number is 615-270-5000. That's 615-270-5000, or visit them online at TrajanWealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. This is a paid advertisement. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. We got Keith Bullock hanging out here in studio. We're happy to have him. KB, it's been a while since you've been in with us, at least.
Yeah, man. You know, you are a celebrity, so, you know, whenever I get the opportunity, I really appreciate it. Lucas hit me. I'm like, yo, my bad, I didn't get back to you. Is the slot still available?
Always. Don't do that, though,
For you, the door is wide open.
I'm surprised you're here. Lucas usually gets me in when he got a fill-in, when he's doing all the heavy lifting.
It happens up more often than you think.
You're usually doing the heavy lifting, right, Luke?
Perpetually, KB.
Well, yeah, I just get away with it at this point in time.
Hey,
the only time that I'm a celebrity is when Keith Bullock calls me out on Twitter. So when we get put on blast that way, it brings a little extra shine one way or the other.
Just ask questions. What's the logic?
Usually there is none.
No, I'm just along for the ride most days.
Yeah, I'm usually just trolling you. If I say something to you, I'm probably just trolling.
No, are you kidding me? It's welcome feedback on a regular basis. I am excited for you to be honored at this Tennessee-Syracuse game. That's going to be really cool. I know you spent some time up at Syracuse this summer, taking in practice and things like that, but I'm sure it's not the first time that the university and the program have honored you in that situation, but that's going to be a really unique setting.
Yeah, man, it's pretty cool. I remember that time Syracuse played, that I was on the team and we played UT. So I saw that Al Wilson is the other one, so that's pretty cool because honestly, college football wasn't the way it is now in 1997. We didn't play in 7-on-7 with each other since ninth grade, and familiar with different people and talk about when I got to Syracuse, I think I met one person that I was going to school with. So that's how familiar you aren't with who you're going to school with as a freshman and who you're going to be playing against from week to week. So when we were playing Tennessee opening game, it didn't register. It was nothing to us up north. Like, all right, we're playing Tennessee. Peyton Manning went there the year before, and we knew that because Donovan was up for the Heisman that year. But we had guys too. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it didn't really register until the first play when they were lined up in the I formation and Jamal Lewis was bigger than Sean Bryson. And I'm like, I can't use the word I want to use. Yeah, I knew it was going to be one of them days.
That was a hell of a game, too.
Yeah, it was, man. Like I said, we didn't know. We knew we were playing a top 25 team. We were a top 25 team. T. Martin, Peerless Price. They had, I believe, Clifton on the line of scrimmage. Like I said, Sean Bryson, Jamal Lewis. But we had guys ourselves, Donovan McNabb, Dwight Freeney, Will Allen, Kevin Johnson, Rob Conrad, myself. So there was a star-studded game, a bunch of over 10 NFL draft picks. And if we didn't have SEC refs, we might have won.
That 98 national championship does not happen with that 1-point win by Tennessee over Q's. But, yeah, hell of a game. Just a few of the names you mentioned there. Talking about some Hall of Fame caliber guys. So, quite the matchup. I don't know that this one will be as star-studded, KB, as that one in 1998.
I would say not.
But we don't know what to expect, right?
Exactly.
On either side, honestly, this year.
Well, and just keeping it with the Syracuse side, because we've been talking ad nauseum about Tennessee and this roster all offseason. Just so much to replace. And what Fran Brown is trying to recreate from last year, where are they right now in that acclimation process in your mind of filling so many holes on the roster via the transfer portal?
Well, I would say, obviously, being in his second year, he's still trying to rebuild. It's almost like when Heupel got to Tennessee and he had some success. So now you want to build on that success that you had. So, by scheduling Tennessee to open up the year, his second season as a head coach, he's showing he's not ducking any smoke, and he wants to get his program up to speed as fast as possible. Fran Brown, when I'm up there, he's talking national championship. You have to kind of put that in your players' minds, because even in 2025, you have some guys that are going to be 4-year lettermen, that aren't going to transfer, that are going to be there, that need to adopt and accept what's being taught. So it's national championship. That's kind of how they speak up there. Now, the realistic part is, that's on them. I don't know how realistic it is, but you have to develop and build a championship mentality, and Fran comes from Georgia, so why would he expect anything else or, preach anything else for his team? And then obviously as a head coach and as a recruiter, he puts that pressure on his coaches to go out and try and get the best players possible. I mean, we don't have the pockets as SEC schools, but you get a good education.
Slight recruiting pitch
we got Newhouse.
That's right. You want to be a broadcaster?
You want to be a broadcaster.
Come on down. Keith Bullock hanging out in studio with us. But like the idea of
all the kids in the hood are like, what's Newhouse?
The messaging, though, on that, whether it's Fran Brown at Syracuse or like Diego Pavia doing it at Vanderbilt, like it's easy, I think, for people at major SEC Power 4 college football programs to kind of turn their nose up and be like, okay, whatever. But you mentioned how different things are from 1997. Like the environment has never more existed to be able to put something like that in place or turn around a program than it is right now.
1,000%. And obviously all these kids are attracted to the money right out of school, right out of high school. But that's small change in a big picture, because at the end of the day, if you get $1 million NIL, that's not setting you up for life. I feel like you need to have a longer tunnel vision to kind of keep the blinders on to when you get that NIL. All right, that's cool. I can send some money home. I can have the latest, J's or whatever they do these days. But you got to keep your mind on the task at hand, and whatever that is for you to get to the NFL, or if you're a guy that doesn't get a big NIL deal and you have to go a different route. You start at a small school, now you go to another school, and you just keep transferring up. You're the type of kid that might be interested in a Syracuse because you understand that, all right, I'm a third-year sophomore, and I just want to get on the field. Okay, I'll take this $60,000 and the scholarship and set myself up for life after football, because what I do know is everyone that I went to school and graduated with at Syracuse, they are owning business, running companies. They're doing things in their community. Like, if I didn't have money, I could call and borrow something from them. If not money, they would give me some knowledge of how to, put myself in position. So I feel, obviously, in the landscape of college football, it's about the on-field thing, but to how you started this off in 2025, these kids are in great position to set themselves and their families and their friends up to start businesses, corporations. It just depends on how you're thinking about it. And obviously, off air, we were talking about my Just Love. So I've been in business mind the last 5 years, but I'm also been in sports, and I think that's important, because these kids do have those resources to them right now.
At KBull53 is where you can follow along on social media. Keith Bullock hanging out here with us in studio. To the same point about messaging, though, I know you follow along with the Titans and everything that's going on day-to-day basis. Cam Ward he doesn't come with a lot of the baggage that these last couple of teams have had, where it's been tough times. It's been, a bit of a drought here last couple of years, and he's very comfortable. He seems to be the only one that's allowed to have to raise any level of expectation for the Tennessee Titans this year, where everybody else is downplaying the messaging. He's talking about a potential top 5 receiver core, top 10 offense, things like that. But everything that he does, the level of authenticity about him, Keith, like how important that is to the guys that he's trying to lead coming in as a rookie, number 1 overall pick or not. You could speak to that better than most.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I've said it before, but I feel like he's coming in with the poise and the swag of a rookie Vince Young. They are totally two different players, but when Vince came in, he was the number 1 pick, but he wasn't, necessarily the starter. There was Billy Volek, then they brought in Kerry Collins. So he was forced to be humble and forced to wait his turn and learn. And, once he got out there, obviously he won Rookie of the Year, and he did what he had to do to propel the team to win. So whereas Cam is a rookie, he's going to get the opportunity right now. It shouldn't all fall on him, because I know defensively we played some good defense that year. We weren't the best defense in the league, but we made plays when things need to happen. We had Pac-Man Jones, who was a hell of a punt returner that year. Albert Ainsworth kind of started to come into his own. There were guys on offense that Vince Young could rely on. We had a 1,300-yard rusher in a Travis Henry out of UT. So there were things that helped this team that was a little seasoned, like this Titans team is now, when we got the rookie quarterback in there that had talent, that was a top 3 pick in the NFL, gave him some things he could rely on and feel comfortable with. Mike Heimerdinger, who was a great OC. It was Norm Chow. I'm sorry. That was Vince's rookie year. But they tailored to what Vince's strengths were, kind of similar to what it sounds like Brian Callahan is doing with Cam Ward.
Keith Bullock hanging out in studio with us. It's been quite a few months since you announced Femi Oladejo as the Titans' second-round draft pick. Nailed the name.
I was worried for you a little bit.
Yeah, that's crazy. Look, let me tell you how it goes down, because it really is literally the name comes out of the printer, and the young lady writes Tennessee Titans, and then the name, and then she gives it to you. And I'm like, oh.
No pronunciation guide, no phonetics.
So I had to phonetically do it myself, and that's what I came out with.
You have to do a little research, like a quick Google to make sure?
Bro, they give it to you, and then Tracy Perlman, who's the head of all that, she walks you out. You walk out to the stage.
I was cracking up looking at the videos that you were posting, heading out there, or after the fact. Oluwafemi Oladejo. There was a slight slowdown, the speed bump of the name, and then he nailed it.
Drilled it.
That's and then Roger Goodell kind of alluded. Roger's a good dude. He always has jokes, especially with the former players, because he doesn't have to deal with us too much. But yeah, he got jokes.
I don't know how much of the Titans defense you've gotten to really watch up close throughout the preseason, but just sticking with Femi and this developmental path that he's on, playing what was your position in college for most of it, and then moving more to an edge role, trying to affect the quarterback. Just how big of a learning curve do you feel that is for Femi, and what early inclinations have you gotten in terms of how he's trying to approach it his rookie year?
Well, I've had an opportunity to meet Femi. We've gone to dinner. We've gone to lunch. We spent some time together. So I know he has a great attitude. He wants to be great. So there's no limit in the amount of time and work that he will put into his game to become that player. I don't necessarily know the scheme that they haven't played. I haven't been watching much preseason because it's just preseason.
You're not missing much.
But at the same time, I know he'll get his opportunities. So it just depends on, what he makes of his opportunities. I don't know what we're expecting to see, right? Do we want a whole lot of sacks out of him, or do we want him to be a solid player? Not make a lot of mistakes, be where he's supposed to be, maybe affect the passing lanes. As a rookie, I don't know what we're expecting, because, Javon Curse was asked to put his hand in the dirt, when he got here as well, and he still has the sack record. So that's kind of how my mind goes, and it's not fair for me to think that for Femi. But look, it's been proven that you can make an immediate impact with pass rushing, getting to the quarterback, and the Titans haven't done a really good job of that in the last couple of years, and all the pressure is, Big Jeff, but he plays defensive tackle. He's getting double teamed, and his pressure is coming right up the middle. So all the quarterback really has to do is step to the side, these, that, and the other. So they do need some outside pressure, and we hope that Femi's the guy, right?
And they're game planning for Jeff, obviously. Like, he's 1,000%. The guy that you got to stop.
And then, look, T'Vondre Sweat helps a lot. But if they're pushing the pocket like they're going to do, somebody has to come around to finish up. So there's been no finish.
Which was Harold last year.
Right.
And he's out the door.
Harold's out the door. And honestly, keep it 100, a lot of Harold's sacks he fell into. Like, he wasn't beating nobody. So nobody's been beating anybody on the outside for a handful of years here. And that's not a knock at anyone. It's not that anyone isn't trying. They just need to get that outside heat to make the quarterback come off the ball faster, because you're getting the pressure in the face.
They got to have somebody beyond Jeff who can win one-on-one, and that's what it is at the end of the day.
You know what? And to be fair, again, The Titans they're a blitzing defense now. I'm someone who played in a defense that we relied on the 4-man rush, and we got there a lot with Vandenbosch and Carter and Hainsworth and Curse and whoever else.
A little different kind of horsepower.
Yeah, absolutely. But whoever else Coach Washburn wanted to put in there, we made it happen. So.
Now, among the many things that we appreciate about Keith Bullock at Cable53 is where you can follow along is the context that you give to a lot of the things that, maybe people are operating with a lot of recency bias. And a lot of that comes up with Cam and some on-the-field comparisons that he gets to Steve McNair's playing style. Now, that's where it starts first and foremost, but then people are very quick to pick it up and run with it and try to make it into something that's not. And I appreciate the context that you have continued to provide. Not a knock on Cam by any stretch of the imagination, but just understanding how much the gravitas that Steve McNair had on and off the field and how much more Cam Ward is going to have to do before those comparisons in a couple of different ways are even remotely apt.
Yeah, 1,000%. My rookie year, I'm glad the way you set that statement question up is because, everybody wants to remember the MVP, Steve McNair. But the early years, before I even got here, I used the Titans/Oilers on the Madden. And it was Eddie George. Yeah. I'm using Eddie George. You know what I'm saying? We're running the ball with Eddie George. And then when I got here, it was still Eddie George in 2000. Super Bowl, obviously, Steve made his plays because he was that guy like that. But he didn't really come into his own until Heimerdinger got here. And I believe that was my rookie year. Yes, Heimerdinger got here. And I think it was the second game we were playing Kansas City. He got knocked out of the game. Or whatever, he got booed. I remember the fans booing him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Jeff Fisher tells the story where Steve was like, man, I'm done. Like, I'm done with this. And, a lot of his former teammates at that time, they'll confirm that story. And we went to Pittsburgh. Neil was starting. When Neil came in, everybody cheered, and Neil led us to win that game. And then we went up to Pittsburgh maybe the following week, and Neil got knocked out of the game, and then Steve had to come in, and in 3 plays, he threw the game-winning touchdown to Aaron Kinney. Now everybody loves him, and then the rest is history. But I was here for the beginning of that, so I think Cam Ward is going to go through that. He's going to go through the time where people are going to boo him. Oh, we should have kept Levis. We should have, however it works. But that's sports, and fans with all these social media outlets. Tom Jones from down the street can start a podcast tomorrow and, it can go viral because of something he said about Cam Ward. So everyone has their opinion. So I think as an athlete, and to be honest, I don't remember hearing that much when I was an athlete in the building, but you pick up your phone, now you're like,
oh my God.
You know what I'm saying?
It's impossible. I mean, and
you pick up your phone and it's like you're warped in. It's like you're in another dimension.
Well, and that you have more context, more information than, half the mouth breathers that are telling you that you don't in those situations. And it's almost, you got to have a lot of willpower to not engage, which I love the way that you and Nate Washington handle people.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't even retweet a lot of the stuff. But to just close that off, I say that Cam just has to, I like the way he's handling everything now. He understands that it's not all on him, and his team has to understand it's not all on him. Like you said, he has the confidence to say, I have a top 5 wide receiving core. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And as the leader, he has to do that because they don't necessarily believe that they're a top, oh, snap, I'm a top wide receiver. They're not.
Who, me?
Right, you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas, me, I was a first-round draft pick. I knew who I was. Even when I wasn't getting those opportunities, every time I got on the field, I'm going to show and prove that I'm that person. So there are guys that are out there like that know who they are. They just need the opportunity. And there are guys that have been on the Titans for years that have gotten all the opportunity and haven't done crap. And that just is what it is. You've made some plays here, made some plays there, but, let's be real about the situation. So everything goes on, the quarterback and all that, the line and all this, but there are some guys here, there, sprinkled around that need to really step up in order for this team to have success.
Keith Bullock hanging out in the studio.
This Saturday in Atlanta, you're being honored on the field alongside Al Wilson. You and Al Wilson. Both you guys were on the field.
Big dog.
Played in the same era. I mean, legends in your own right. What's that relationship like? Is there any trash talk happening between you and Al leading up to the game on Saturday?
Nah, I wasn't much of a trash talker on the field. Like, if you said something to me, I'm going to definitely say something back to you. But, what I remember about Al from that game is, like I said, you didn't know, you weren't familiar with the players, especially defensive players, except Ray Lewis. Everybody, like, in college, he was somebody that, like,
It's a little different.
Like, I knew who Ray Lewis was. Like, Ray Lewis and Derek Brooks.
Yeah.
And, like,
Oh, my
Javon
God.
Curse. Like, those are, like, Charles Woodson, Peyton. Like, those are, you know what I mean? So, guys like myself and Al, like, we're trying to put our name on the map. And he did that game because you see 27 all over the field. And, for the game-winning field goal, I went to go block, and then I just had my head on the ground, and then a voice above me was like, "Man, get your ass up, 33. You was balling it." And it was Al Wilson.
Yeah.
Like, so we were watching each other that game, and
That's
then in
awesome.
the NFL, he went first round, I went first round. And every time I think I just saw Al, maybe it was Super Bowl was in Vegas a couple years ago.
Yeah, I think 2 years ago.
We had a cigar, chopped it up. You know what I mean? So it's cool. I'm looking forward to seeing him. But look, we don't get into. We're kind of more like Indiana fans when it comes to football. We're not gonna, maybe a little better than that, but
Easy.
We have more success than that. But we're not like UT fans. UT fans swear they're Alabama. And they ain't won nothing since '98.
Brother.
It's true. But
They are. I appreciate the passion. Is the most diplomatic way that I could talk about.
1000%. I appreciate the passion and I appreciate the honesty in the fans, because like once it starts to go downhill, they go downhill. The comments go downhill.
They
too.
will live and die on every snap.
So I love look, shout out
That's
to
the
all
realest.
my UT fans, because all my friends here are UT fans. So,
gonna be a fun ride.
It's Keith Bullock, kind enough to hang out in studio with us. KB, we appreciate you doing it. Open door policy, of course, but we'll have to have you. I know you're a busy guy. But
Yeah,
we'll
I
have
have
to have
something
you
to
back.
talk about soon. I'm transitioning in. I'm making a transition in like life, work and jobs and stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll see what's up.
All right. Big thing.
The next phase. We'll
There you
keep
go.
updated.
I'm going to the next phase.
The
That's
next
what I was looking
phase.
for.
Keith Bullock hanging out in studio with us, being honored on the field in Atlanta when Tennessee and Syracuse square off in week 1. Last call for phone calls.
Love you, KB.
Wrap up the show.
right.
Coming up next. Don't encourage him. Go to break.
Work. It's what we do. Part of who we are. There is joy in work. And no matter what size your business is, the dedicated commercial team at Two Rivers Ford will find the work trucks and vans that keep your business moving. And Two Rivers is the only dealer that offers a 90-day free fleet management program that can help you save money on every single mile. The Commercial Vehicle Center at Two Rivers Ford. We work for you.
All right, we have corresponding transactions to go with the 4 Titans that were claimed on waivers. So a reminder, as we wrap up, last call for phone call, 615-737-1045. Yeah. Oh, was your microphone on when you said, oh?
No, I was just kind of saying it to myself, but I am surprised by the first name on this list.
You want to do it again for dramatic effect?
Oh?
Okay. It was gratuitous.
Corey Levin. Yeah, you were taking too long.
I was going to read the names that they claimed first.
Corey Levin, Timmy Horn, Curtis Jacobs, Gabe Jeudy-Lally, and John Ojukwu make way for Samuel Womack, C.J. Ravenel, Dorian Mensah, Jalen Armour-Davis, and Shai Tuttle.
Now, Levin can come back because he was released. Now, the other ones could come back too, but these are the 5 that they did move on from to make room for the players that Lucas mentioned. All right. So Levin survives the initial wave of cuts, but then is subject to... So who's their backup center?
Yeah, I don't know. Who was back?
Also, that's great news about Lloyd Cushenberry.
Yeah, that means that you're confident Lloyd is going to be ready in week 1.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Robert, I'm sure you're surprised by this. DeMarvin Leal is returning to the Steelers via the practice squad.
Who?
Third-round pick out of Texas A&M or just Texas?
A&M.
They also retained Beanie Bishop back to the practice squad. 4 interceptions last year, got cut. They were able to bring him back.
Now,
also,
Beanie Bishop is somebody who gets a lot more credit than I think he outright deserves because he's just right place, right time on some of those picks, right? It's a lot of tip drill picks that he got as a rookie last year.
Also, Hendon Hooker on the Panthers practice squad.
Okay, so the dream is not dead.
Still alive.
Is Dalton still their backup?
Believe so.
All right, very good. So those are the corresponding moves. But, most importantly, you don't root against Corey Levin by any stretch of the imagination, but that's the headline that Lloyd Cushenberry is full go.
For that Denver game, which also we've been talking to Keith Bullock about being honored on the field with Al Wilson because their 2 alma maters face off for week 1. The 2 places where they made their names in the NFL also facing off in week 1, Titans and Broncos. Let's go ahead and let's honor KB and Al Wilson for that one too.
They usually have one game a year where they put Bullock and Curse on the jet and fly him out with some, very high-paying Titans fans that get the private jet treatment. So maybe they do it for week 1. Who's to say? Go ahead. I'm tweeting.
Go ahead. What?
Say something.
So, also, not that I've seen, I don't believe any Titans players that were cut are being picked up anywhere, which is not a surprising thing.
Yeah.
But
the Restrepo, there's nothing, it's not a knock against these guys. This is one of the worst rosters in football. They're trying to raise the floor. They think that they've done that. And if those guys end up on the practice squad and they're good soldiers, then more power to them. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
So who is the backup center at this point?
Because they cut Sam Mustipher.
Right.
They cut Rupchich.
Would it have to be Jackson Slater? Who didn't really play center at all in camp that I saw.
Well, but that's the thing that the combine, no, not really, but that's the thing that they do at the combine a lot. Can this dude do enough at 2 positions to justify potentially keeping him so that we don't have to keep an extra, swing guard / center type of situation? Because that's what Levin has been. He's been a center that can also play guard when there have been injuries, when there have been other situations. So Slater could be. But this is why they kept 11 on the initial. I'm just looking through the names that they currently have. So, without OJ, John Ojukwu, and Corey Levin, has Blake Hance had a snap at center? Is he their new Daniel Brunskill?
Yeah, I know he's a versatile guy, but I don't know if he's actually played center at any point.
Because they do not have another player with experience at center on the roster if it's not Corey Levin. Now, again, Corey Levin can be a handshake deal, and Corey Levin can also be a practice squad guy.
I'm not seeing where he's taken any snaps at center. He's played guard, he's played tackle. But, great news for Lloyd Cushenberry.
Now, what was the name of the Webb guy that they added to or that they were expected to sign on the practice squad?
Clay Webb.
Is Clay Webb somebody that's played center?
Yes.
They could elevate him.
He would also be a UDFA guy. It would be the same thing with Levin, right? You would assume that they would add Levin to the practice squad and they would elevate him for the 3 games and probably find a way to work him back in to main roster.
So, again, just because these guys are moved on from for now does not mean that they cannot make some form of return in some form or fashion. So, Corey Levin, who has been the longest tenured Titan, I believe he's a 2016 draft pick, 2017 draft pick. What was the Corey Davis draft, 17?
Yeah.
17 then for Levin. Could very well end up back here in some form or fashion.
Yeah, it's crazy. They cut their preseason MVP.
That's right. He was your preseason MVP.
Yes, he was.
Cedric Gray was this team's preseason MVP.
No, Cedric Gray earned himself the most opportunities through the preseason.
Right. Because he played well.
Yeah, in 2 games.
Throughout the preseason, in 3 games.
2 games.
You and your little semantics.
Polls. Oh, wait, original? No. I want an original song.
That'll be $50.
Here are the
That's
polls.
fine. I own 50 anyway.
Here are the polls. We're doing polls. Here are the polls. Here are the polls.
I want one of those every day.
Yeah, you're going to get a variation of that every day.
That's fine.
Presented by Two Rivers Ford. What is the dumbest thing in sports this week?
Tommy Tuberville.
I had Rashee Rice in the whole situation. Robert had the dispute with Fox and YouTube TV. Vila says the Titans and Bussin' with the Boys charging American dollars to watch a game at Brooklyn Bowl. A lot of people saying ESPN sending push notifications about the Travis Kelce Taylor Swift proposal.
Your poll a cappella rendition today is receiving a 3 out of 10 from the chat.
Well, I didn't want to do it, so.
Who is your Titans waiver claim crush? I'm just scrolling to see if anybody predict. Here's Brian, who said Armour Davis.
Yeah.
Who was claimed by the Titans.
That would be mine.
Yeah, probably the best pickup that they made today. What is the most interesting SEC Week 1 matchup? Texas versus Ohio State, LSU versus Clemson, Bama versus Florida State, or Auburn versus Baylor? 75.7% say Texas versus Ohio State. Overwhelming majority there.
I think it's LSU.
18.2% say LSU Clemson. I also am more interested in the LSU Clemson game. Only 3.4% say Auburn Baylor. Only 2.7% say Bama Florida State. Mayo on hot dog? 80% say no. Come on.
Now, is mayo that polarizing of a condiment? Because
ridiculous.
I feel like mayo is something that people are very strongly for or very strongly against.
Unless you call it aioli, and then everyone's like, "Oh, this is delicious."
Oh, yeah. No, come on. Everybody eats mayo, all right? And people love develed eggs. People love potato salad.
There's mayonnaise and deviled eggs?
It's like all
Are you
mayonnaise.
kidding me?
What are you talking about? What else could it be?
Never. Have you made deviled eggs? I don't know what deviled eggs are made of. I just know they're delightful.
It
And
is
they've got a
incredibly
little paprika on them. They're great.
Just a giant bite of mayonnaise.
Is it really? I thought it was like mustard.
It's just egg yolks, a little bit of mustard, egg yolks, mayo.
Now, Tyler
the
makes
two
a good
of you
point.
acting like that's some kind of, that's some kind of offense, some kind of personal offense to your palates is stupid.
Eating a deviled egg and not knowing there's mayonnaise in it.
Why do I have to know what's
It's
in
like
it to
drinking
like
a
it?
soda and being like, oh, there's sugar in this? Tyler on the FNM Bank chat makes a good point. He says mayo is pretty polarizing to Titans fans. Maybe that's what it is.
Oh.
Maybe there's mayo.
We've triggered them.
PTSD, yeah.
The bad man can't hurt you anymore. Well, I suppose it could, but that's it. It's going to do it for us tonight. Are we doing primetime tonight? Yeah, it's a Wednesday.
No, we don't have to.
What did you just say?
I'm so far away.
No, we don't have to do that.
Why were you that far away from the microphone?
Because I have to work back here.
Is that what you're doing? See you tonight.